Well, hey, everybody.
Says Haunting Mondays, but
it's fucking, yeah, I was going to say, everybody's like, wait, is it Monday again? Okay. It's
not Monday.
If you weren't here yesterday, what we decided, because Slasher Fred just said, I wonder what movie they were originally going to review. Well, that's the thing. Yesterday, when we did Darkness Follows, and then it was getting late because we were having such a good time, and I was like, oh, well, we have to pick a movie to do for tomorrow, and Tom's like, why don't we just do another Haunting episode?
Yeah.
And everybody said, yeah, totally do that, because, you know, they're way shorter than a movie, and I was just like, yeah, why not? And I was like, oh, now I have to make another fucking intro, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to put a Haunting Mondays, but it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. So this is a bonus. This is a bonus Haunting episode, which is good, because we watch it. This is Fear House.
Fear House, which has like been multiply requested.
Yeah, everybody's asked for
what
that.
What the fuck kind of
Fear
word
House.
Is that I'm making up?
And
I'm very tired. I've been up since 3:30.
Right. Fear House is a good one. It probably would have been, if we had stopped much earlier, it probably would have been fucking Godfather 2. But that's just fucking almost 2 hours.
We still got to do that.
Right. And
maybe next week.
And even tonight, we won't have time to do Godfather 2. We're gonna watch the Coma.
Well, tonight we got to watch Coma because that's the movie that's going up on the movie retrospective, and we have to we have to watch that tonight so we can record it tomorrow. Yeah. So you know what I mean.
But Godfather 2 and Godfather 3 are on the list. Okay, those are coming soon. Those are great movies. Eventually. I remember 2 being better than 1.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time though. But that's what it would have been. But like I said, it was too late and I was too tired. I mean, I think I fell asleep at like 9 o'clock. It's hell getting old. But like I said, it's like, well, I fell asleep early, but then like I said, I woke up at 3:30 and couldn't go back to sleep. So I laid there for a little while, and then at 5:30 I was like, fuck it, and I just got up and made a cup of coffee. But you know, that's how it goes. So yeah, Fear House. We had several people ask about this episode. Now, this was actually one that the people use their own names, which is always helpful. And I found out after when I was doing a little bit of research about this that the guy, because this one is like this is not a two-parter, but it's kind of like a two-pronged haunting attack in the sense that there was like a family that was there first, and then they were like, fuck this place, and ran out of there. And then another family moved in. Or no, there was a couple moved in. No, they had a daughter too, didn't they? Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And then they moved in, and they had some paranormal experiences happen there as well. So it was like a two-family thing. So I looked it up, and the first guy that had the 3 kids that stayed in the house, Steven LaChance, he is... Now, okay, so I don't know if he started out as a paranormal investigator and it just, like, happened that he, like, ended up in a haunted house, or that he ended up in a haunted house and then, like, subsequently went on to become a paranormal investigator / author.
That's
because
probably how it happened.
At this point, he's written several books. Like, a few of them are about this haunting case. And then I think he wrote one, like, in 2019 or something like that, about the Roland Doe case, which, if you don't know, is the possession / poltergeist case that The Exorcist was very loosely based on, even though it was a boy and not a girl.
Yeah, the real case was fucking much better than the movie Exorcist. It was poltergeist. It wasn't possession, but poltergeist has elements in it that look like possession, kind of like in Enfield. That also looked a little bit like possession. But no, he's probably kind of like a situation like me.
Yeah.
Where I had a poltergeist experience, me and my family, my aunt, my uncle, went on it only for a couple weeks, and after that I became interested in paranormal, and Jenny wrote some books about it after interviewing the family. So it's probably a situation like that. He saw it, became a believer, researched it, he had experience, so why can't become a fucking parapsychologist, become a ghost hunter, whatever. Probably how it happened.
And apparently, I mean, at least according to his, like, about thing, like, on his website, he's been, like, been on Coast to Coast, and he's been on CNN and NBC and Sci-Fi and Discovery Channel and shit like that. So, like, after they did a haunting episode, and I think they did another show, I had it written down here somewhere.
He probably saw it first and then became, you know what I mean, a fucking parapsychologist or, you know, a paranormal investigator, to be a good way to put it. I could do that. I'm fucking ready. I've already seen it. I know that kind of shit exists. I haven't seen everything. I've seen poltergeist. I've seen bad houses, which might be haunting, but real mild. Nothing happened. It's just feelings, you know, me and other people. Out-of-body experience and near-death experience. I know that this shit happens. So I've seen more than a lot of parapsychologists have seen. And I ain't trained for any of it, just personal experience and reading and listening to other cases.
Oh, bless you, sweetie.
If anybody has said, Ross, man,
please.
we need you, there's a fucking poltergeist case happening, and fucking they tell me the right things, I'll be right down there. If they pay my plane ticket, I'll be there. I'll investigate it.
He'll investigate the shit out of that.
What's it? I'll investigate the fuck out of it. So I know exactly what it's about. And fucking, I'm already battle hardened. That shit can get very scary. Seeing a fucking object just fucking fly at you out of nowhere. You got to keep your cool, but you're going to lose your cool. But you'll cool back off. I mean, even when I was a kid, I'd freak out for a second and then shake it off and go back and look at it being red. You see that? Yeah. When that woman from NPR not investigated, but interviewed me, she's like, why didn't you guys run? Well, we couldn't. We were snowed in. But even if we weren't snowed in, we wouldn't have run. It was a fucking event of a lifetime to see this thing. Yeah, it could have hurt you, but you'd get scared. You'd run from it. 5 minutes later, you'd be back there, back of the scene. Did you see that? Man, that was fucking weird.
Well, yeah, I kind of feel like I'd be more curious.
Yeah,
than
you're trying to get down to the bottom of it. And it hasn't hurt you yet, and it probably could have, but it hasn't hurt you yet. So what the fuck how does this work? What is this thing? Can you communicate with it? We tried, Not really. It defied all that. So, yeah, he was probably a dude like me. I mean, I haven't met him, but probably a situation where he saw it and then became fascinated. And made a part-time living out of it,
I mean, he seemed like an okay dude on the show.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now, this is season 3, episode 1. Mm-hmm. So this is from 2006. And the shit happened to him in 2001. And it's actually in Union, Missouri. So if you want to look up the shit, it's actually called, I think they call it the Union Screaming House, because of some of the manifestations that were going on there. So I think some other paranormal teams have been there as well. And like I said, he's been on some other shows and everything. But the interesting thing about a haunting, like I said, it wasn't entirely about him.
There's more than one family.
There's more than one family. Although he kind of involved himself with the other family too, the people that subsequently moved
kind of
there.
makes the story more credible. We're dealing with a haunting, and they kind of fucking, they embellish a bit. They're trying to put on a good show. But when they say there's 2 families involved in the case, kind of had a little more weighty. More witnesses. More people involved. It's harder to fake something like that. It's harder to get 2 separate families together on some kind of conspiracy or story. It could happen, but it's just harder.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
Okay, for example, if you lived somewhere and you thought some weird shit went on, and when another family moved in or bought the house or they were the next renters or whatever, and you happen to mention that there was weird shit going on, then the next people that came in there could either see and hear weird shit just because of suggestion, or they could be like, ooh, cha-ching, and they could make up a story. They're like, hey, because you already laid the groundwork. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how much interaction there was between Steven LaChance, the guy that lived there before, and the family that lived there afterward, prior to them moving in. The show made it look like there wasn't any, he had just kind of showed up on their doorstep. It's like, hey, I used to live here and I've been having, we'll get into why he went there, but
it's rare that a second family goes, yeah, there's weird shit going on here. Even Ed Dunham, I know Ed Dunham. I met him. He's local. He's from a haunting in Florida. Mm-hmm. Is the name of the episode, and he was up there in Deltona. I've been to that house. I saw it. Yeah, I met Ed at his work.
That's 20 minutes from where I grew up.
Got him on my friends list on Facebook, and he's a ex-Army Ranger, bat boy. He was from 75th Infantry. He's not a bullshit kind of a guy. Big old fucking Ranger. All right. He's older now, but he tried to fight the damn ghost. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch that ghost leg.
Yeah, you can't. I know where he's coming from. You know what I mean? But you can't get aggressive with something that's non-physical. There's nothing to punch. We talked about the other day.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
It's not there.
You can't punch it, so
right.
Like I said, we're out of options.
So with Ed, he told me, he said, "Man, I feel helpless. There's nothing you could do." All right, it was It's not physical. You can't fucking fight it, and it frustrated the hell out of him. But
I understand that.
But even after he left that house, the people that moved in the house afterwards evidently has not reported anything, which that's not that uncommon. I mean, I think a lot of the haunting in Deltona had more to do with Ed. I think Ed gave off enough energy to activate it, like a poltergeist. It might have been a poltergeist. I wasn't there. I didn't see it.
Well, considering, I mean, if any of this stuff is actually true and happens the way that people say that it does, then it could be that it's not necessarily just the house or the property or whatever, but it has to be like a particular conflation of things.
Yeah.
Usually having to do with the people that are living in the house, like the way they interact or something like that. Like there has to be some kind of... So then like some other people might move in and... not see anything.
The chemistry isn't right.
Right, that's what I mean. Either that or it's like so minor that they don't notice it.
I think in Ed's case with Deltona, it might have been a bad house. And then the place was, you know, what you would call from Star Wars fucking terminology, the place was strong with the dark side. And Ed goes into there and he's got a lot of energy, a lot of dark side energy, you know, being a ranger. And he fuels it and activates it. But when he's gone, it goes away. It was just the combination of those two. And he had kids. His kids were with him. That's kind of an additional fuel source, possibly. This is all theory. There's no book on this. It's just patterns. It involves, people with strong personalities, people going through puberty. Those two, that tends to be the pattern. They go into the wrong place, something weird can happen. I mean, but we're just going by the cases.
Yeah.
There's no science behind this. It's more like an art form. You can only go by from what people say and what limited evidence you have. I've seen it, though, but it's very elusive. It's not something that you could fucking record. You can say, well, hold on. Although I take that back, because that other girl from Paranormal Witness, I talked to her. And she recorded a lot of it on her cell phone. That was called, what was the name of that case? I talked to her. She sent me a damn audio file from her phone messages. And it just, and it was just this fucking weird voice going, kitty, 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 kitty. And that was not in Paranormal Witness. Kitty, 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 over and over. I think it was called Kitty, wasn't it? No.
Or something, I don't know.
Poltergeist in something or other.
I don't remember.
And man, yeah. I talked to her for a long time. I forgot her name, but she was from Paranormal. I haven't talked to her in years, but she convinced me, just telling me everything that happened. Tried to get her on the show, but she really wasn't that interested. She was raising a young baby at the time. She was real busy, and she also seemed like she wanted me to pay her to come on the show, and I don't really work that way, you know. But I understand she was hurting for money, you know. Young family and shit.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like...
She said, well, you know, I want to be compensated for my time. And I was like,
well, you can't blame her for that.
Can't really blame them, but...
I mean, you know.
Because I had to talk to her ear off for a couple hours. I talked to her over fucking text and fucking phone and shit. She had me convinced because I'd seen Poltergeist and she's fucking describing it perfectly. What you feel, how you react, and everything. So she sold me on that one.
Deborah said, please tell me it isn't Monday again. It's not. Not that I know of.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we just decided to do another haunting for today. I just didn't bother like making it. I didn't have time to make another thing. I didn't have time to make another fucking thing. But she said, just getting off work. Happy to see you guys are on today. Yeah, I mean, we're usually on today, but usually we're talking about a movie. So, but today, like I said, it was kind of late when we stopped last night, and I was kind of really, really tired because I hadn't gotten any good sleep. So we were too sleepy to like watch a whole movie. So we're like, let's do another haunting because they're short. So you know what I mean.
And they're laughing, saying it's going Tom Ross, paranormal investigator.
You could do it.
Yeah, that term though is kind of fucking hokey.
I'll make you a business card.
But
what would you call yourself instead?
Tom Ross. Tom Ross.
just Tom Ross.
Tom Ross. Yeah. It's like
needs no introduction.
It's like Elvis. Just call me Ross. You know, Ross has left the building. But no, if any paranormal investigator fucking wanted me to go on a poltergeist thing and fucking wanted me to see it and my explanation, if you fucking pay my airfare, I'll go. But you know, that's not my main job. I don't really care about that too much. But I would love to see it again. I would love to see.
I mean, we have talked about doing it. I mean, it would be cool if we had the money, which we don't.
Yeah.
But if we had the money to kind of go to particular places to live stream from there, like haunted places, I'm betting that 99.99% of the places that we go, like jack shit would happen. I'm sure.
Well, we could always go back to fucking Mammoth.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that before, but like I said, that would be super.
If an investigator ever wanted to go to Mammoth, we get the right place. I got to find out exactly. Because they changed the fucking room numbers. Lois gave us the information. I know exactly what chateau.
I mean, we know
was.
what the place is called. I changed the name in the book so they wouldn't sue me, but
and evidently the
really
numbers on the chateaus may have changed because I think they might have torn some of them down.
Yeah, because then they've renovated and stuff.
Yeah, but the one that I was in when it started is still there, and it would, man, I think fucking the vibe in that place would bring it back. Especially if Lois was with me and Red. But Red's dead now. But I'm pretty sure I'd probably get wigged out and it would come back.
Yeah, see, like, now I'm curious. Like I said, it was one thing we were talking about. But like I said, I mean, we can't afford it, obviously.
Can't afford it, but if we had the funding, if somebody wanted to do it, we could go.
Then we could go and stay there for like a week or something.
Yeah, and I don't know who owns the place, but it's probably rentable. But the thing is, this Mammoth Mountain, California, the prices are fucking outrageous.
Well, if you were just staying there for a week or something, though, I mean, it would be expensive, but it's not like you're moving into the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You could do it for less than a couple grand, probably.
Yeah, you could probably do it for a couple $1,000s, I imagine. I mean, for a week. How much, I spent 5 days just, like, at an Airbnb and shit like that, like, in St. Augustine, and I think that cost maybe, like, just under $1,000. Like, and that was with food and everything. Yeah. So...
Yeah, California prices, though, up
so
there.
it'd probably be, like, twice that, I'd
maybe
imagine.
Twice that. $2,000 a week,
and
probably.
then maybe with airfare.
Yeah.
I don't know what airfare is like nowadays because I haven't flown anywhere, like, for a long time. But, you know...
And I would hate to rent the wrong place. I'd want to be there on the ground going, yeah, this is it. This is the one.
We'd have to make sure it was the right one.
Right, yeah.
Although, it would be interesting to see that even if it wasn't the right one, like if you thought it was the right one, would it still be
I would know. I would
Yeah.
know. I would know. It had a certain feel to the fucking place, man. And I remember that layout. Even though they changed it. They made some doors.
Because we saw pictures of it.
Yeah.
Like, they've renovated it, but you still recognized it. You said it wasn't that different.
I felt like I was back in it.
I mean, they obviously, like, you know, updated it and everything, but you said it looked...
Pretty much, it's the same
pretty
layout.
much the same
They
layout.
added a couple of doors so you could get into a bathroom without going through a hallway. That's one of the things that they did. They changed like carpeting and shit like that.
I would hope so.
But it was pretty close.
Because back in the early 80s, it was probably
pretty
like some
close.
ugly-ass shag or something.
Yeah. It kind of took, looking at photographs of it, took me back there.
Yeah, I remember we looked...
What was weird
It
is on
wasn't
the
that
bottom
long
floor,
ago, I think, when we looked up pictures of it.
What was weird is on the bottom floor, it had two bathrooms right next to each other. And that was because it was a ski lodge, so it was supposed to be that people could... the people from the bottom floor could use the showers in the bathrooms and not jam them up so they could go out to the ski slopes. But Wes saw that and he was like, "Wow, look at that!" Because he didn't see that before. Two bathrooms right next to each other.
I've never seen
on a
that
hallway. Either. Yeah, but there were 3 bedrooms on the bottom floor though. So it's just so everybody could get ready at once.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. Yeah. It's just usually they don't put bathrooms right next to each other.
Right next to each other.
But I can see why they would though, because of the plumbing and all that.
Yeah.
And all that business. Mm-hmm. It's kind of why this house has bathrooms like one right on top of the other one.
Yeah, it's got 4 bathrooms in here. Right.
Yeah. All right. So, are we talking about Fear House now?
Let's talk about Fear House. Looks like the crowd. Everybody's here. Go ahead.
All right.
The house in the episode is evil. That's right.
Evil.
And super chats are active. If y'all want to fucking tip Jenny for her fucking hard work that she does on every show, you can drop it anytime. Anytime of the show, I'd like to see some flash bulbs. Any questions, you can drop them in the chat line. You can fucking super chat us and fucking we'll answer your question.
That's right, we will.
That's right. I'm passing around a collection plate. That's what I do.
That's what
the hype man. I'm like the Flavor Flav of the channel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Camp Guy.
Thank you, Camp Guy.
Happy Tuesday.
Camp Guy, did you get your shirt? That was Camp Guy that got the shirts, right?
Yeah, they just picked him up yesterday morning.
Okay.
So I'd be very surprised.
They should be there tomorrow the next day.
But they're just going to Georgia, so.
Okay. They're staying in the South, keeping them Southern shirts.
Yeah, but they picked him up yesterday morning.
Okay.
Like about 11 a.m.
Probably be there tomorrow the next day.
So let's see. Zach says, how messed up is it that this episode is the thing that introduced me to the concept of cutting? I kind of feel like, well, now everybody knows about cutting, but I don't even remember how I first heard about it. But when this came out back in 2006, maybe a lot of people didn't know about it because they did have to kind of like explain what it was. Like now you could just say it and everybody knows what you mean. Yeah. But it's like back then maybe they didn't. I can't even remember.
This is an epic episode. Okay.
It really is. Like I said, this is like this. There's a whole bunch of people involved.
It's got memorable characters too. This is one of the only episodes that has a black guy in it. And fucking the way he's portrayed is fucking funny, and then he really shows up. He's funny. He goes, I ain't got time for this.
He basically said exactly that. I don't got time for that.
Time for ghosts.
With his teeth missing. I think his name was Emmett, right?
Yeah, Emmett.
I've got his name written down further.
And it's the same old thing. Women are trying to tell him to fucking, and his wife's white. These white women trying to tell him about ghosts. He's like, I ain't got time for that. It's fucking typical. Fucking
you bitches crazy.
Yeah, and white women crazy.
I mean, basically.
Yeah, but you know,
he did call him crazy. Well, his wife and his daughter.
Yeah. Well, he'd seen enough episodes of The Haunting to know that white women are crazy. White women are fucking crazy. You know, fucking brother knows. They're crazy. Just tell it like it is.
Dudes think all ladies are crazy.
No, but there was a ghost. He saw it. And he goes, then I'm seeing it. I saw it. And I believe.
Well, see, that's what I mean. He's being very dismissive of it. I'm like, we'll see how this goes. I know how it always works out on a haunting.
I believe it now. Fucking ghost looking at him at the damn foot of the bed.
Yeah, he saw some fucked up shit too.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, see, and if that had been me, I'd have been like, God damn it, I fucking told you so.
Brother woke up and saw
calling me crazy all this time.
Brother woke up and saw that honky Kong at the foot of the bed looking at him like that. And he goes, I ain't had no white ghost. I'm fucking out of here. Nah, I got enough white people in my life already. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Fucking funny. That was like,
ghosts are the ultimate white people.
The ultimate white people coming at me. But no, I understand what he's talking about, man. That other show where they had that, where the ghost was remember that black freed slave who owned the house.
Yeah. What the fuck's
and he was attacking the white people. Goes, this is my house. And if I saw that shit, fucking go, yeah, this is your house. I'm gone.
Bye.
This is your house, dude. This is your house. Fucking, I'm fucking out of here. The way he was in, this is my house. They had the damn white contacts in his eyes. And
that was a good episode too. What the hell was the name of that? We'll get to it eventually. I can't remember what the name.
I saw that,
but I remember like
when they showed that ghost. I'm like, oh yeah, fucking, I'm out of there.
Yeah, if some ghost was
you got
like,
reason, bro. I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, it's like backing away slowly.
Yeah. You got this. You got this.
You can have the house. It's all good. I'll find another house. Yeah. There's lots of houses.
Yeah.
But
this is my house. Yeah. Okay. This is your house. I gotta go. Let me pack my shit.
I just remembered, I think it was like from an Eddie Murphy stand-up from a long time ago, where he was talking about how white people stay in like haunted houses.
Yeah,
he's like, black people, like, as soon as like Amityville Horror, it's like, as soon as they heard,
get out.
He's like, oh, well, bye, too bad we can't stay, baby.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not fucking around. Well, that's why it's so great, like, going and seeing horror movies, because I used to go see horror movies at the Dollar Theater, and the audience was usually about 90% African American, was about 90% black, because that was the neighborhood that it was in. So it was always super fun, like, going to see horror movies with them, because they were absolutely not having it. They were like, they were absolutely not having it, and they're just like, what the fuck? Like, what?
They're not having that shit. No.
Why are you so fucking stupid? And like talking to all the people in the movie, like criticizing all their decisions. Yeah, it was like super funny. Yeah. Like it depended. I mean, usually I don't like people talking during movies, but when it's like a horror movie, a slasher or something,
it's like MST.
Yeah, it's kind of like MST, and it's just fun. And a lot of times the movies weren't that good, so it was like kind of funny anyway. They were all just kind of like
audience participation.
Yeah, it was like audience participation. Yeah. So I liked that very much. But so all right, so this house is apparently in Union, Missouri, which, if you're from Missouri, they said, I don't remember how many miles they said, but they said it was west of St. Louis. I don't know, 30 miles, something like that. I don't remember. So, May of 2001, this guy, Steven LaChance, moves in. Now, he's like a divorced dad. I don't think they said what happened to his wife. I guess she just took off or whatever. But he ended up getting custody of the three kids. So he's a single dad. Now he has 3 kids. He's a corporate trainer or something like that. And the 3 kids are named Eliza, Elliot, and Eli, apparently. They interviewed 2 of the kids, right? That had grown up some. Because I think when this happened, the kids were 13. Eliza was 13, Eli was 12, and Elliot was 11. But this happened, like, they did the show, I think, 5 years after the events. So they were 5 years older. So Eliza was 18. She was on there for sure. I think Eli was on there too. Was it Eli or Elliot? I can't remember. One of the boys was on there too. So they're renting this big, beautiful house. Now, the first thing that happened, and I will get into, because this is one, like I said, Steven LaChance did write a book about this actual haunting, and he wrote subsequent books after that. And he actually wrote something in 2004 for like a haunting type website where he actually went into what happened at the haunting. So if I remember, like, I have the notes from the show here, and then I have like the notes that he wrote like up here. So if I remember like the differences between the two, it's actually pretty similar. It seemed like most of the stuff that happened to him was, I mean, they portrayed it fairly accurately and if anything, they kind of toned it down a little bit for the show, I feel like.
Okay.
So the first thing that happened basically is that, well, the first thing they showed, so they rent this house, which is like massive. He said they'd been in like an apartment with 3 kids, like 3 teenage kids or preteens, which he said was like a fucking nightmare. So they moved into this big, massive house, nice and old and everything. So the first thing that happens is he hangs up a picture on the wall. Now, I don't remember what the picture was on the show, but he said in real life it was a picture of like angels or some shit like that. So he hangs it up and it keeps like falling off the wall, which doesn't really seem all that weird at first. On the show, I think they just showed it falling down like twice. Like he hung it up and then it fell and he's like, okay. And then he hangs it back up and then it falls again. And then
that was the
like,
first physical phenomena.
That was like the first thing. Now, the thing that he wrote, it seemed like it happened 3 times. Like it did it twice, and then he's like, what the fuck? And then he hung it back up, and then he said he turned around and he said he felt like a breeze or a wind or something like that, like on the backs of his ankles, and then like the picture fell, but it was like behind his feet then. So it kind of like flew across the room at him, which I don't think they really showed that on the show, but he said that's what really happened.
It fell behind his feet. Hold on, describe.
Well, kind of, or it kind of. I don't know how far away from the wall he was. Like, I couldn't really tell from what he said.
Right.
But it seemed like he turned around, like he felt a breeze at his feet, and so like the thing, like he implied that it like flew off the wall. I'm guessing. Okay. So yeah, they didn't really show that on the show, but like they did show the picture like falling down. And like I said, I don't remember if it was angels on the thing, but he seemed to make a point of like saying that the picture was angels. So the second thing that happens is he sends Eli and Elliot down to the basement to get some stuff, like to get the hose and stuff like that. Like in the thing that he wrote, he specified that they were doing all this yard work, and so he sent the kids out there to get that because they were real excited about. Oh, one thing that he said that they didn't do on the show, he said they moved in there in summer. Well, he said too that the landlady that owned the house that was renting it out, that they had gone there and it was like an open house. So there was a bunch of people like walking around the house and, you know, renting it and everything, like looking to rent it. And she called them and said, oh, I've chosen you guys to be in it. And he said she was like real weird, like the way she acted, like the way she was showing the house. So like it was almost like a museum, and how she had chosen them to be like, I don't know if that's true or not, but like that's what he said. And they didn't really do that on the show, but he said that's how it was. He also said too that even though they moved in like in the summertime, because it seemed like it was like shortly before the kids got off school for the summer, he said that the yard always seemed like it was autumn. Like the leaves were always falling and shit like that. So they always had to like rake them and shit like that. So I thought that was a little weird that he mentioned that. But yeah, so he sends the boys down to the basement to get the hose.
To get the hose?
Yeah.
Send them boys down to get them hose.
Yeah, he sent the boys down to get the hose. Get the hose
down the basement. What the fuck is this? Okay.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Now, while they're down in the basement, I couldn't really determine exactly what had happened here, but it seemed like on the show that Elliot was down there and there was like a creepy voice that kind of sounded like it was saying his name, like Elliot, like that. Yeah. Like not like E.T., but you know what I mean? So it was kind of like creepy. And So he like runs the fuck back up the stairs, and he's like, fuck that shit, I'm not going down there anymore, no thank you. Now in real life, or at least what he said in his account, he said that the kid ran up the stairs and legit stood there and peed himself because he was so scared. They didn't show that on the show, probably because it's not embarrass the kid, even though I just said it. Hey, he said it too. He said it on his website, so. And he said, basically, I don't think he said that he saw anything, but he said he heard somebody, or it sounded like a big something, like, running after him, like, up the steps, which they kind of showed on the show, too. Like, something was chasing him up the stairs. But they said he was, like, terrified. Like, he literally stood there and peed himself.
Yeah, Mammoth, me and Wesley would
He was 11, I think.
At Mammoth, me and Wesley would try to go up the stairs. We'd go up the stairs together. And we'd start running like something was chasing us, and we'd get to the top and look, there'd be nothing there. It was just a feeling you had that something was behind you. But you always had that feeling in that house, kind of. It was weird. Yeah. Me and Wesley would tell me about it. You remember that running up the stairs? Like there's something behind you. You're like, yeah. He felt it too.
Yeah. But that's apparently what this kid felt. Like,
but it was, but you couldn't see anything. It was just a weird pressure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he didn't really say he'd seen anything either. He just like heard, I guess he heard something like coming after him and felt something coming after him like up the basement stairs. And he was like really, really scared. And
we felt it more like something looking at you, staring at your back, behind you, and running from it, and it got more intense. You're like, look, but you couldn't see anything. We were kids, you know.
Yeah.
Well, 14. I guess I was 14 or 15. It's weird.
Yeah, it is pretty weird.
Yeah.
So then, like, okay. So the next thing that happens is the kids are all, they said, well, you know, they were still, like, moving their shit in, and the kids' beds weren't in their rooms yet. So a lot of times, like, the kids would hang out in the dad's room, like, just to watch TV or whatever. So they're all in there. And, one of them, I guess it's Elliot, like the youngest one. So he gets up to go down to the bathroom. And he says to his dad, hey, will you come to the bathroom with me? And he's like, what are you talking about? You're 11 years old, like, you know, nut up or whatever. And, you know, then the other kids obviously, like, tease him, like, oh, you scared of, like, the basement monster? And he's like, shut up, you guys, shut up. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. But he was, like, super, super scared. And after a while, like, they had Eliza on there, and she was, you know, 13 when this happened. She was 18, like, when they interviewed her for the show. And she's like, he was actually so scared by it that after a while we felt bad and, like, stopped teasing him about it because he was, like, clearly very terrified. So Elliot goes out in the hall to go to the bathroom, and he turns the lights on because, and it's funny because when we were watching the show, I said, why doesn't anybody in horror movies just turn on the fucking lights instead of like creeping around in the dark? So it's like scary. But he did actually turn the light on, but then they started like kind of going off and then coming back on and then going off and coming back on. I don't know if that's really happened, but that's what they showed on the show. And then all of a sudden, Murder Clown shows up in the fucking, and this is kind of like, I think this is what people remember the most, like from the Fear House episode.
Evil clown
is the murder house, is the murder clown. But the thing about it, and we were discussing this when we were watching the show, because I said, now technically, and we'll get into this because somebody did say something about it later, but technically I said, now the kid didn't say he saw a murder clown in the hall when he was going to the bathroom, right? At the time.
Yeah.
But I will note that at the end of the show, his dad, Steven, did mention that the kid was seeing clowns.
Seeing clowns, right? Because I was doing
But they didn't say it at first, and I was just like, wait, did the kid see that, or are they just throwing a clown in because clowns are scary?
One of the reasons why Jenny's saying this is because every time they show that clown, I was like, where are they getting this clown thing?
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't say anything about clowns. But at the end, they clean it up. He said, the dad says, yeah, my son kept seeing this clown. So
yeah, they just didn't say it at the time when the clown first appeared. So I was like, clown, okay, that's random.
So that's on a haunting. A haunting should have cleared that up early on. I didn't know where they were getting this clown action because I never really take a haunting at its word. Even though I love the episodes, they're like I said, they're better than watching the Amityville Horror. The episodes are better than a lot of horror movies.
They are.
But sometimes it's not real clear about what witnesses are saying and what kind of liberties a haunting takes with the story. They do take some liberties.
Because sometimes you don't know, like, you know, they'll have an interview with the witness, and they'll say something kind of, like, generic, like, it was so scary, I'd never seen anything like that in my life, but you don't know, like, from what part of the interview that was taken from. They could have been talking about something else, like, not what they were showing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all, like, very creative.
I've never seen anything that scary, and then they show a damn demon. But the guy never said anything about it.
He didn't say he saw a demon.
So you're like, wait a minute, hold on. So
like, what did he actually see? Like, what was he
Right.
actually talking about?
Jenny and I are trying to approach this rationally to know what to tell you guys during this show. You know what I mean? And even when I was trying to do a little bit of personal investigation, trying to investigate what it was they were talking about, it's hard to keep it straight with just a haunting itself. You got to go online and find details. But they're still great episodes, though.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's all fake, they're still super fun.
Yeah. And in this case, no, the kid was saying he kept seeing a clown.
Yeah, they just didn't mention that until the end. So I was confused at first because he's going down the hall to the bathroom and then suddenly murder clown. Yeah. And then I was just kind of like, wait, nobody said anything about clowns. Like, why is there randomly a clown in your upstairs hallway suddenly? Yeah. Why a clown of all things? But, I mean, they kind of explain it later on. So I was like, okay, fair enough. You probably should have said that, like, at the outset, but, I'll allow it. So basically, he comes, like, screaming back into the bedroom, as you would. Tells his dad that he saw something in the hall, and he's pretty sure it was the same monster that he saw down in the basement that scared the shit out of him when he was going down there to get the hose. Then they said 2 nights after that, they come back from somewhere, and come back home, and all of the lights in the house are on. Yeah. Now, I think they only showed this happening one time, but in the account that he wrote in 2004 for the website, he said that happened all the time. He's like, they would come home, and he said after a while, like, because at first they were just like, he thought the kids were doing it, like, man, you fucking kids, like, why are you leaving the all the lights on? But he's like, after a while they started like deliberately going and turning all the lights off and then leaving and then coming. They even called like the landlady and said, hey, are you fucking around in the house and turning the lights? She's like, no, man, it's not legal for me to go in your house. Just sounds
like poltergeist, man.
Yeah, but he said multiple times they came back home at night and every single light in the house was on.
Same thing happened in Mammoth. Fucking, we turned all the lights off, left out, came downstairs, turned the lights off, went out to the front, got into the car, we're getting ready to leave, and Red goes, look! He points up, and the lights are on in the house. We turned them off. And Lois said, you turned that off? I go, yeah, we turned that off. Freaked me the fuck out. And then that's when the first time I saw that blue, hazy, kind of, I don't know, man, blue, misty, hazy thing. It was just kind of an area in there, little zones of the blue haze. Weird.
I will note that one time I came in here and the light was on, like that light was on.
Yeah.
But then I discovered later on that actually Pookie has been turning the light on with her nose.
Oh, she can turn it on? Okay.
Well, because she jumps up there and it's like right next to where her little wall brush is.
Okay.
So sometimes she'll be farting around over there and go boop.
Yeah, and touch it. Okay.
And she'll turn the light off or on. So I've seen her do it before. So I was just kind of like, oh, okay, it's not ghosts. It's just Pookie's.
She knows how to do it.
It's just Pookie's nose. She's just turning the lights off and on like a weirdo.
She was laying down next to me looking at my tablet. I was watching something, and I went up there and I started scrolling and pushing things on the tablet. And then she reached out with her paw and went like that, fucking, and opened up a damn menu and looked at me and went,
look what I did.
I opened it. I was like, you did that. She fucking, yeah. And then she's like, make those men talk. And the little man talking. I'd take my earbud out and I'd put it in her ear, and she's like, what? And she'll smell it, and then I'll put it in her ear, and she'll go, and then she'll,
oh, people are
and
talking.
Then hear it,
okay,
she'll look at the
it.
screen, and she'll press her head into the fucking thing. And then she went, I can hear her. I said, yeah, I know. Fucking, she's a smart cat. Weird.
She's hilarious.
Weird.
Well,
hilarious.
I told him earlier before we started the show. I know we're getting off on cat talk again.
Yeah, cat talk. Yeah.
But I said one thing that she's learned to do is she has discovered that her little fur is exactly the same color as the bath mat in my bathroom. It's gray.
Yeah.
So what she's been doing is I'll get up in the middle of the night, like to go to the bathroom. So I go down the hall from the bedroom into my bathroom, and it's kind of dark in there, so I don't turn all the lights on. Like I can see and shit, but you know what I mean? But it's still kind of dark in there, and I go in there, and she'll be curled up in the middle of the bath mat, like camouflaged. And then sometimes, like, I'll go to the bathroom, and then she'll go, like scare the crap out of me. So she knows that I can't really see her, and I think she thinks it's funny to like pretend, because she curls up very deliberately, like in the middle of the bath mat, which is like the same color as her, and she's just kind of like, hey, like waiting for me to come in the bathroom.
Animals are something else, man. Fucking cats are far more intelligent than I thought they were. Funny.
She is like scary smart.
Yeah.
I can't believe some of the shit she's figuring out.
She reached out and fucking opened that damn screen and then looked at me. Do you see that? I said, yeah, I saw it. And I shut it
Pookie
like that.
did that.
Yeah. And earbuds. That was fascinating. She's fucking putting her head against the earbud. looking at those men talking, and then looking back at me. She's like, I can hear them. Wow.
She's like, wow.
Because it probably doesn't make sense when you're a cat, just a person looking at guys talking, you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
You got to tell them, with the earbud, no, I can hear it. And then she was
like, it's a person. It's a very tiny person.
You can hear him
like
talking. How is he talking in that little thing? She was smelling it. How's he in there? Fucking funny.
What a very small man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, hi there, Florence. Florence says, hey, and new to the channel. Binged your book reviews. Subscribed just recently. Well, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We do all kinds of crazy shit on this show. Live streaming, book reviews, movie reviews, true crime, all kinds of fun shit. So I hope you have a good time here. But yeah, we started doing this a little while back, like talking about all these haunting episodes. So, okay, so where was I? So, yeah, so he said multiple times they would come back home and every single light in the house was on. Another thing that he said happened a lot, and they showed this on the show just happening like once or twice, is that the temperature in the house would like fluctuate wildly. Like in one room, it would be kind of like hot and humid, and then like you'd go into the next room and it would be literally be like 45 degrees. And I think they even showed like on the show the thermostat like reading 45 degrees. And then it would like, it kind of like lit up and sparks flew out of it and shit like that. And at this point, Steven said that he felt like, he said it felt like an electrical charge shooting through his body. That's what he said that it felt like. And I wrote this down because but I wrote it down like really quick, so my handwriting's really messy. So it says tickling inside that would work its way out. Oh, okay, I got you. I'm trying to read my own handwriting. I was like scrawling it in the dark, like while I was watching the episode, so it's not like super legible. But yeah, So he said it felt like some kind of weird like electrical tingling that would like work its way out. He said that's what he said it felt like. So at this point too, they show Eliza, the daughter, and she starts hearing like some weird shit in her room. So it sounds like something in her closet. And she kind of is like, what the fuck is that? And she thinks maybe it's her brothers, so she goes looking for them. But they seem to be sleeping. So she gets back in bed, or actually they're kind of sleeping in the dad's room. So she gets back in bed, and then the closet door opens by itself, and she's just like, yep, fuck that noise. So then she gets up and goes in the dad's room and discovers that the dad and both the sons are sleeping all in the same bed because the kids have been like, yeah, we're not sleeping in our room either. And then she's like, hey, can I sleep in here too? I'm like, Jesus Christ, how big is this bed? So yeah. And he's just like, what the fuck, man? I can't get you sleep with 3 fucking preteens sleeping in my fucking bed because they're all scared of ghosts. So there's that. So then, Steven's dad, who is a contractor, like, Steven asked him to come over and check the thermostat and is like, why is one room 45 degrees and the other room, like, 85 degrees? And what was with the sparks and all that? But the dad, like, doesn't really find anything unusual, which, should not be surprising because it's apparently supernatural. Now, in the basement, they made, like, much out of this, but it says in the basement, because you know how, like, Anthony Call, the narrator, like, how he has that great, like, spooky voice, and he can just make, like, random shit, and then there were dirty dishes all over, you know what I mean? So it's, like, everything sounds, like, really, really, like, sinister. But, so he says, in the basement, they find a butcher shower, and then, like, he has to explain what that is, because maybe people don't know. But, yeah.
As
like,
if that's scary.
I mean, it's...
Come on.
It's not scary, but no. I mean, yeah, like they killed animals and blood and everything, but
it's called groceries.
That's what I mean. It's like it's just meat.
Well, it was back then.
If you eat meat, like you probably shouldn't be scared by that.
They were all eating.
It would be different if like you went down there and it's like, and then there was like serial killers scrapbook. Then that's scary, but it's like butcher shower not so much. A lot of houses had those, but it's just it was kind of funny the way they tried to make it
like it's something sinister.
Like if it was something sinister. I'm like, no, a lot of houses had those.
Yeah. Back in those days, it's farmhouses. Even though you look at the block, it doesn't look like that was ever a farm. But no, farmhouses and houses that were out in the suburbs. Not even suburbs. They didn't really have those back in the early 1900s. People were growing pigs and they had their own cows and where do you think the meat came from? They didn't have corporations fucking stocking up supermarkets. That wasn't something until after World War II, 50s, So you had to process your own meat.
Then you had to come in through the basement, and you had to take a shower because you were all covered with blood and gore.
It wasn't that bad. If you clean deer, you can do it fucking and keep everything very nice and tidy. There's no gore at all, you know. Fucking, it's nice. You field dress the deer, bring it in, fucking hang him up, fucking pull the skin off of him and start processing the rear legs and get the fillet off the back of it, and fucking everything else is just bundled up and you throw it away. And then everything else is just packaged up, put into servings. They didn't have freezers back then. It was ice boxes. So they probably just cured a lot of it. You know, easy to do. You can douse it in maple syrup and hang it up. It'll cure. Or salt. Cook it in, let it sit in brine. Roll it in rock salt.
Florence said, I loved watching A Haunting as a kid. I don't think I remember this episode, though. But the killer clowns got me interested. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is one of the iconic ones, specifically because of that clown.
Yeah,
even though he's only in it for like a second.
If you haven't seen it, I mean, it's memorable. This is the one where when they deal with the second family, and you had a black dude married to a white woman, and they had a mixed daughter, and there's an iconic fucking scene. She's played by a cute little teenage mixed chick. She's sitting on the fucking front porch talking to her friend on the phone, and sees a baby hanging in a tree. And a dead baby hanging in the tree. She goes and tells her mom. Mom comes out and it's not there. She goes, I saw a baby in that tree.
Well, yeah, I'm getting to that.
Yeah, fucking yeah. That's really the weirdest part, and that kind of stuck with me.
That one and that thing and the clown. But like I said, because the clown seemed so random.
Right? Yeah. The
but
mom
they kind of explain it later.
Thought the girl was going crazy because she was cutting herself by that time and everything. It was, you know, and seeing dead babies in the trees.
Yeah, I hate when that happens.
And it had the umbilical cord and everything. They showed it for a second. It looked like an umbilical cord and a fucking infant hanging in a tree.
I mean, it was obviously...
It was obviously fake, but
a real baby.
It looked like... Didn't it look like an umbilical cord and a baby? To you?
It looked like a doll, but I couldn't really tell like if that was an umbilical cord or if it was just like a rope or something.
I thought it was an umbilical cord.
Maybe. I mean, you could be right. It was kind of dark.
Yeah.
So like I said, they kind of make the whole butcher shower thing sound like kind of ominous when, you know, it's really not, but okay. So one night the three kids again are in Steven's room because they like to hang out in there and like watch TV. And Steven like kind of goes in the other room because his dad calls. So he's talking to his dad on the phone like in the other room. And then the door to Steve's room closes on its own. At that point, Eliza said she heard screaming. And this was another thing that they didn't really go into much on the show, but Steven LaChance said later, like in one of his other write-ups, that they heard screaming a lot. Like that was one of the main manifestations, so much so that they actually call this the Union Screaming House because there's like screaming coming from it all the time. So Eliza said she heard screaming, but she couldn't tell like where it was coming from. And then the closet door starts shaking, and the door to the room, like from the room out into the hallway, starts shaking, and then they can't open it. So they're like all freaking out, like the door's like banging, like vibrating and shit like that, and they're all like flipping out. So at this point, I guess this was like too much for them, and the dad comes in, and they're just all like, we couldn't get out, and it was like, and he heard all the screaming and shit too, and he's just like, okay, fuck this place, we're leaving. So they basically like pile out into the car and, go stay with Steve's parents for a while. And he said, I think on the show they said he didn't go back, but he said he did go back to get some of their shit. But
the sleeping
he didn't go back there by himself because it scared the shit out of him.
Yeah, all the sleeping in the same room. That sounds authentic to me. That's what we did at Mammoth Mountain. Fucking once we realized the shit was kicked off and stuff was fucking moving, it was poltergeist activity. We all slept in the fucking living room on a damn fucking fold-out fucking bed. All keeping an eye on one another. Nobody wanted to be alone. Would you? You got an invisible fucking force that seems to be kind of hostile. That could hurt you. It's not hurting you, but it could. It has the strength. You know?
Well, I got the impression from this show that that's kind of what Steven was thinking. He's like, if you could make... Because, like I said, I think they toned it down a little bit for the show because he said... Because actually, I think... If I remember correctly, like what he wrote, that there were actually two incidents that made them like run out the house. Like the first one was kind of like this whole door vibrating and hearing the scream, and they were like, fuck that. And they left like for the night or for a few days, but then they came back, and then it was okay for a little while, but then there was like another really big event like that. And he was like, yeah, whatever it is that's in this house could actually, like, hurt my kids, and I don't want that to happen. Yeah. So then he's like, okay, we're leaving, and then they just left. So I think there were actually 2 events.
That aspect of this story kind of fucking piqued my attention because, you know, I lived it personally. Like, yeah, when you think there's something hostile in the house, everybody tries to keep everybody else in sight in the same room. People are afraid to go downstairs by themselves, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Somebody, you need an escort. And the boy is asking his dad, I need to go to the bathroom, come with me. And he's like, no, I ain't going with you. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, that was like pretty early on.
Yeah, it was early on.
In the shit. Like,
then later on, he's like, yeah, okay, so they're escorting each other around the house. And that's actually how it goes.
Well, and like
some
I
of
said,
these other stories, fucking, they're not doing that. So
what I said, what he said, and I don't think they showed this on the show, but when he went back to the house to get their stuff, like after they fled, he said he went back, but he would never go back there by himself. Like he always took people with him because he like this house scared the shit out of him. He said,
I wouldn't go back to Mammoth I wouldn't go back to Mammoth, especially back in those days by myself. Hell no. But it transferred from Mammoth Mountain to my aunt's house. It was all in that same 2-week period. You couldn't run from it. It'd follow you. But, you know, it's just weird.
So after they leave, the house goes up on the... It doesn't really go on the market because it's not for sale. They were just renting it. So the lady that owned it put it back on the market for rent. And a new family moves in. Now, this family is... And I'm assuming these are their real names because they showed their faces. Was Linda Marsh and her husband, Emmett Bryson. And then they had a daughter, Ashley, who at the time was 13 years old. Now, Linda said that the house felt perfectly normal and comfortable at first, and everything was totally fine. The first thing that happened is Linda is by herself in the house, and she's kind of like, you know, painting and decorating, doing all that shit you do, like when you move in. And she hears something or somebody moving around upstairs, which kind of wigs her out. I don't know why I wrote this particular thing down. I guess because I wrote neighbor brings pie. And I was, well, maybe because I love pie. No, because I remember I said to you, I was like, I wish a neighbor would bring me pie. I've never had a neighbor bring me pie in my whole entire life. And it was a key lime pie too. And I'm like, damn, bitch, somebody needs to like step up and bring me a key lime pie. But yeah, or lemon meringue would be better. Key lime's good, but lemon meringue is better. But I don't know why I wrote that down, but I wrote neighbor brings pie. So she hears some like shit moving around upstairs and like thinks it's weird. Now later that night, the daughter, Ashley, she hears a bunch of like banging around like in the hall, like somebody is running up and down the halls like kind of like slamming doors. That's what she thinks that it sounds like. So she comes down and, you know, her mom and dad are in the kitchen, you know, talking or whatever. And she's like, were you guys just upstairs, like, slamming all the fucking doors? And they're like, no, we thought that was you. And she's like, yeah, I think this shit's haunted. At which point, Emmett, the husband, basically said, and this, I think this is pretty much a direct quote, I don't have time for that.
Yeah, I don't have time for that. That's a perfect quote.
That's pretty much what he said. That's exactly what he said. I'm not even kidding. That's what he exactly said.
Danny really goes face called him fucking Mr. Jack-o'-lantern because his teeth missing. But
yeah, he had like 2 or 3 teeth.
He did like a jack-o'-lantern. He was like, I ain't got time for that.
He was a funny dude, though.
Yeah, he's funny. He's crazy white women when they're ghosts. I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, and he basically just said, he's like, I told him they was crazy.
They was crazy. Yeah, I don't have time for that.
Because, of course, he didn't see anything.
Well, okay, look. There's more to the story. Before he said that, he says you're going to be messing around and waking up things that don't...
No, that was later.
It was later on. Yeah, it was later on. But he didn't think... I know the personality type. He probably was weirded out by the house. Okay. But he was in denial. There's a lot of guys, there's a certain pattern where, yeah, they're creeped out by the house, but they don't want to admit it. And then if you keep questioning them, they'll think, well, if you give it attention, it'll get stronger. Yeah. But there's something to that, actually. That might be true. Might be some kind of an instinctive reaction to ignore it. You gotta be all right. You give it attention, it gets stronger.
Well, yeah, we talked about that yesterday, and you think that might be kind of like,
right.
maybe a factor of the dudes because they know they can't do anything about it. They can't punch it.
They can't punch it. They can't do anything.
They can't fix it. So it's like, well, we're just gonna pretend that it's not.
We're gonna deny it.
Much easier.
Right, and it'll get weaker. You're gonna weaken it by not paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Don't let it dictate terms.
Xanada said, I've never seen an episode of the show ever, but it's funny listening to you guys talk about it.
Oh, man, Xanada, you got to see these things, man. No, these are good. These are good. They're good.
A lot of them are super fun.
They're good, yeah.
A lot of them are super fun.
You can buy them on DVD or you can see them on Amazon. A Haunting, season 1 through 6. Really,
yeah, because this episode's from season 3, actually.
Yeah. They're worth watching. They're better than most horror movies.
Zach said, there's a Haunting ep I remember where they go back for a phone charger and the ghost makes shit go off, and I'm like, can you not get one at a gas station for like $1.99? That's what I'm saying. It's like some of the shit that's in your house, you know, if you think a ghost is gonna like wing a fucking brick at your head, you don't need the shit. You can buy other shit. It's fine. You know what I mean? It's not worth risking your life over. But yeah, so basically he hasn't seen anything, but the mom and the daughter have seen some stuff, and he's just like, you both crazy. I'm just like, not having it. Now, interestingly, Steven LaChance, the guy that had been renting the house previously, he said that he kept having like recurring nightmares about the house. Like he kept having like the same one all the time, almost like it was trying to like tell him something. So he decides maybe these dreams are telling me I need to go like talk to the people that live there and like to see what the fuck's going on. Like maybe they're in trouble. So he shows up on their doorstep apparently, and it's like, hey, I know this is like weird and all, but I used to live here and pretty sure. Ooh, thanks. Yeah. Pretty sure this shit's haunted. So have you been having any problems with the paranormal? You know what I mean? Emmett basically is just kind of like, I was laughing because Danny Rowling said the Black Father, Black Jack-o'-lantern, Black-o'-lantern, probably thought Steven was trying to cuck him out with his wife always coming to her aid and shit. I actually kind of thought that while I was watching the show.
There was a big age difference between them, though.
There was. He was much older.
She was a lot older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said, Sebastian said, I ordered 3 on Sunday, Jenny and Tom. I think it was Sunday. I don't know what you're talking about. You have to give us context. You ordered what? 3 shirts? I don't know.
Yeah, if you did, like, tell me, because I don't remember. Like,
right.
When was that? Sunday?
I don't know.
Okay.
There's not enough context.
Yeah. Danny Rowling said, is it paranormal to always wake up at 3 a.m. just to go to the bathroom? If it is, then I'm also paranormal, because I do that pretty much Actually, last night, I think I fell asleep at 9 o'clock, because I was exhausted. I was watching riff tracks, and I was just like... And then, but I woke up at midnight to go to the bathroom, and I woke up at 3:30 to go to the bathroom, and I couldn't get back to sleep, so I just got up.
No, Xanada, I fucking challenge you, man. Fucking stream. Amazon probably has it. Do they?
Maybe you can buy... Well, okay. When I search each episode, it says that you can watch them for free on Tubi and or Pluto.
Okay.
With ads, but I'm not entirely sure if that's true. Okay. I think you might be able to buy whole seasons.
Yeah.
On Amazon, you can usually do that. Amazon usually has most of those kinds of
just choose whatever service you want. She said Tubi might have them for free with ads.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Or Pluto.
But no, watch season 1. You'll like it. Every episode is, I would say, better than Amityville Horror.
Yeah, I mean, if you like those kind of like creepy horrors, I don't know. There's just something about them that's like really comforting.
They're well made. They got a good soundtracks. They even sell the soundtracks and the scores to them. Not soundtrack, a score. They sell the scores.
Each season has its own CD.
Yeah.
Or like iTunes playlist that has like all of the music from it, because the music's so iconic.
And they just take cases that are built around actual witness testimony. They say that they happened, and they kind of engineer a good little 45-minute case movie around it, and it's got voiceover and fucking narration, but it's just classy. They're classy. The first 6 seasons are really good. The other seasons are not quite as good, but they're still good.
Yeah,
they're still good.
Blockfrog said, "Wait, what? I had no idea the music had albums." Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Well, the music's good.
But then I looked it up and I was just kind of like, every season, I don't know if every season, but all of the early seasons, each season has like a CD and like an iTunes thing that you can buy that has all of the music from that. Because I didn't realize this, but you know, and I know it has like the theme song and all that, like that kind of thing. But each episode also has its own kind of like score in the background, which is kind of like a little bit different.
Yeah.
So yeah, they put out like a CD and an iTunes thing for each season. Like, well, at least the early seasons.
And to most of the stories, there's something to them. There may have been some exaggeration. There may have been some shit eliminated. You got to do your own investigation to find the truth. But A Haunting did a good job with most of them. Okay. At least they tell the story in an entertaining way.
Yeah, even if it's bullshit. It's still usually fun to watch and creepy. And
and it's based around a story somebody told. They claimed that they saw it. Some are better than others. You be the judge. You do your own investigation.
Zach said, my roommate and I used to use a site called Dopebox to watch shows for free, and A Haunting and all 11 seasons are on there.
Really?
Just use a real good ad blocker, because man, is that site ad crazy. Okay.
There's 11 seasons?
I thought there was 12, actually.
Damn.
Was this on Discovery?
We haven't seen
I think it started out on... Did it start on Discovery? And then it went to Destination America. I think it was on Destination America.
See, we keep saying that we're going to watch the newer seasons. I think we watched them up to season 8. Or 7. 7 or 8.
But then I think we saw some episodes in some of the later seasons. I think I've seen some of the 10 and 11 episodes. Yeah, okay. Like, I think we saw them like on TV randomly. Right, yeah. Like, because sometimes when we used to like have cable and we used to watch cable, like sometimes it'd be on, so we would watch it. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen this episode or whatever. And I think sometimes I DVR'd some of them. Yeah. But that was a while back, so I don't really remember. So, okay, so where was I? All right. So Steven shows up at the house and is basically like, hey, I used to live here and shit's haunted, and have you been having any weird shit happen? Because I've been having like some dreams about it, and I think they're telling me to like come here and see what's going on. Emmett is like not having it. He don't want to hear it. I wrote that in big letters. But Linda is happy because she kind of feels vindicated. She's like, yeah, there is some weird ass shit going. It's like, thank God you're here because... You know, this motherfucker doesn't believe me. But, you know, you lived here and you experienced it.
Yeah, it was it eventually ended up on Discovery.
But Sebastian said, sorry, yes, 3 shirts. Okay, which ones did you get, though? Where's my pen?
Yeah. We didn't see the...
whatever it was, I didn't write it down, which is unusual for me. Yeah. Because usually I write stuff down. But sometimes I forget.
I'll make them up for you.
Oh, thank you.
Got another size.
Just tell me what the sizes and the shirts are, because
what shirt it is, and then
or if you sent me a message, tell me where you sent the message, because I have to look for it, because there's a million places like
and
to
he must
get
have
messages.
Sent payment somewhere, we don't have it.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So yeah, we'll figure it out. it out. And then after that, I wrote in really big letters, because like I said, I was writing this down like really quickly while I was watching it. I wrote in big letters, Emmett won't move and don't believe in this nonsense. I wrote that like really big. So at this point, like, Steven basically, because Linda's like, yeah, I've been like hearing some weird shit too, although I think at this point all she had really heard, she just heard somebody, it just sounded like somebody like walking around, or like somebody moving around the house, which, like, it's, you know, I admit that's creepy, but you know, she hadn't had anybody like I said, like wing a brick at her head or anything like that.
Show's narrator is 81 now.
Is he really?
Yeah, that's what he did.
He didn't look. The funny thing about it is that this always happens. Every time that I hear like narrators with super cool voices, like somebody, whether they're on podcast or whether it's that guy or whatever, I always have like a pretty clear image of what they look like in my head, and I'm always 100% completely wrong.
Yeah, I didn't know that dude was in his 70s back in those days.
He never looks anything like I think he's gonna look. I don't know why.
81 now. He's got a fucking cool ass voice.
He makes everything sound creepy.
Well, nightmares become reality.
He doesn't just do A Haunting. He does some true crime shows too.
Does he? Okay.
Well, because do you remember? Like, I think we mentioned this on a couple episodes of A Haunting. Like I think the last one we did, like where the TV came on by itself.
Yeah.
And I think one of the shows that was on when the ghost was going through the channels was a true crime show.
Yeah.
That Anthony Call also narrates. Is it Cold Case Files?
Maybe.
It might be Cold Case Files.
Yeah. Xander, to start with season 1.
Because I love that shit.
You want to start with season 1.
I mean, maybe you'll think it's cheesy. It is kind of cheesy.
It is, yeah, but it's just it's television programs.
But I like that kind of
thing. They're good.
I like that kind of thing.
You start with season 1, episode 1, you go through it. And you fucking relax and watch the shit and fucking trip out.
Now, I don't
Get high, whatever.
I don't like paranormal investigator shit, like ghost hunters and all that kind of. Now I do like Ghost Brothers because those dudes are like funny. I don't even think that's still on anymore.
But they were supposed to be funny.
That's what I mean. But I don't like ghost hunters and stuff like that because to me that's just like boring. I'm just like that's a bunch of like douchey people like hanging out in an abandoned mental hospital.
And that was 90s
in
reality
green
TV.
screen.
Yeah.
Going, did you hear that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that.
It was 90s
That wasn't anything.
It was like
just shut up.
2000s reality TV.
If you're going to tell me a ghost story, just tell me a fucking ghost story.
Yeah.
Don't like just make me sit in an empty room in the dark listening to some sounds that aren't happening, okay?
Right.
So I'm just like, show me some ghosts.
Start off with fucking season 1. And I think episode 2, I think it might be Haunting a Summer Wind. That's my favorite one. Haunting Summer Wind was fucking weird.
Zach says, apparently, Tony Call, the guy that narrated, was on the original Star Trek and Twilight Zone back in the 60s. I'm going to have to look that up.
It doesn't
Holy,
surprise me.
okay, I'm going to write that down.
Motherfucker was a legend.
I'm going to write that down. Because I had no idea. Because we have watched the original Star Trek. I love the original Star Trek. And I love the original Twilight Zone. And I have watched all of them multiple times, and I didn't remember hearing that voice, but, you know, there's a lot of episodes, so it's possible I could have missed it. But I'm going to check that out now because now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, Danny fucking gives you some good advice, Danny. He says start with fucking A Haunting in Connecticut and the Georgia episodes.
Those are like the pilots.
Those are the pilots.
And they're kind of like movie length.
Yeah, they're movie length and they're harder to find. You can probably rent them on Amazon. But it's like movie length. It's got Haunting in Georgia and Haunting in Connecticut. And those were the pilots. And then go on to season 1.
Okay, so all right, where was I? All right, so like I said, I'm trying to read my my
fucking
scrawl notes. All right, so at this point, so like I said, so Steven had showed up at the house, and he's like, okay, well, my advice to you is probably you should move. He's like, because when we left, like the whatever it was is making the whole house shake, and he made the assumption, which you know probably true, that if it can make the whole house shake, then it can probably hurt you. And so you might want to get out before it gets any worse. So then we go to something that Tom already brought up, where Ashley, the daughter, she's had like some weird shit happen too, but you know, like I said, she heard all the doors slamming and shit. But so she's out on the porch talking on the phone, and she's basically saying to her friend, you know, I've had all this weird shit happen in the house, but, you know, my dad doesn't believe me, and it's like, he just thinks me and my mom are crazy, and it's like, you know, it's very upsetting, which I can imagine. So she's talking on the phone to her friend, and she hears, like, this creaking sound, and she's outside, like, she's sitting on the porch, like, looking out in the yard, and she sees what appears to be a dead baby. They didn't really specify... Because obviously, like, on the show, it's a doll. They're not going to hang a real dead baby in the tree, for Christ's sake. But, so I don't really know if she saw a doll hanging in the tree or a literal dead baby, like a ghost dead baby, like, hanging in the tree. I'm not really sure. They didn't, like, because they didn't interview her, and she didn't, like, say exactly what she saw. They just showed, like, what she apparently saw. So there's a dead baby hanging there from the tree. And she's like, what the fuck? And then she's like, I love how, like, kind of fucking... She was wigged out, obviously. But basically, she's talking to her friend, and she sees the shit, and she's like, I'm gonna call you back. And I was like... I just laughed my ass off. I'm like, man, she's cool as a cucumber. She's basically like, I gotta call you back. I'm seeing a ghost dead baby, like, hanging from the tree. Just, I'll get back to you. So, here's the crazy thing. And this made me laugh. I don't know why. But so the mom comes out on the porch, and she says, Mom, I just legit saw a dead baby, like, hanging in the tree, like, while I was talking on the phone.
That's what I was telling you about earlier.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And, well, I was just telling them, I said I thought it was so funny that basically she sees a dead baby hanging from the tree, and she says to her friend, I'm just going to call you back. And I was just like, wow, that's pretty slick. So yeah. So the mom comes out, and she's like, Mom, I just saw a dead baby hanging from the tree. And basically the mom's, even though the mom has seen paranormal shit happen previously, the first thing she jumps to is, are you on drugs? Are you on drugs? Give me some. But no, so I wrote down, Ashley's hopped up on the goofballs. Like, her mom, even though she had seen paranormal stuff happen, she legitimately just, the first thing she jumps to is like, oh, well, you couldn't possibly have seen anything supernatural. You must be on drugs. And Ashley's like, fuck you, bitch. I'm not on drugs. But I don't know if she was on drugs.
It says it was an extra large, I guess, Snake Plissken.
Oh, okay.
And 2 13 o'clocks. I got 2 different 13 o'clocks.
Okay, wait.
We can talk about. I got one of them with me and Jenny on it, and another one with the logo. And I got 2 different Snake Plisskens. I got one with a little image and a bigger image.
Probably the big one is better.
Probably what he wants. Yeah, I like the little image. Makes me look bigger. Put that shit on me, my chest look wider. Extra large. He doesn't need.
Tom wants bigger titties.
Yeah, make my titties look bigger. But no, I got 2 different 13 o'clocks. So if you want 2 different ones, I can
like,
give
is
one
it
of
like
each.
the Grim Reaper one, or you know what? A lot of people, I think on one of my shows, on one of the shows, I wore my old one that I made. Remember the old one that I made that looked like the Friday the 13th poster? Like, I used the same like font and like the broken glass.
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't have the.
And that's the thing. Like, somebody said, "Oh man, I want that shirt," and I was like, "We don't." I mean, we could make another screen though. I still have the image.
They don't sell much though. What I have is I have the clock, and I have the one with me and you on it.
Okay.
It's got Jenny's titties on it. You'd love it. She's fucking grabbing her titties and fucking then a little one.
Well, like, not like the whole.
Yeah, it's not real. It's not real graphic. But it's little.
Not the whole.
It's little. Yeah.
I'm just very very small, just like the men in your earbuds.
Is that what it is? Little bitty man inside the earbud.
The little bitty man inside the earbuds. That Pookie thinks live in the earbuds.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be funny if she thought there were tiny people living in your earbuds or in the TV?
Well, children think that kind of
stuff.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. So that's like really cute because I kind of like feel like Pookie has probably like the same level of awareness as a child.
Little child, yeah.
So she probably thinks there's little tiny people living in your earbuds, which I think is like, that's adorable. So yeah. So basically, mom is like, which I mean, the poor kid. She's just like, look, I'm seeing like supernatural shit, and dad's already like not believing me, so I've already written that off. But now mom, who is also seeing paranormal stuff, is just like, are you on drugs? What the fuck? So she's probably like freaking out. Now, she does find out, and I don't know like what the exact timeline on this was, but Linda finds out that Ashley has also been skipping school because she's just like, school's lame. Everybody's lame. I was like, wait till you get older and find out that most people are actually lame, and you just have to like learn to deal with it at some point. But yeah, so she's been skipping school, and we find out, as Zach alluded to earlier, Ashley is also a cutter. They had to explain what it was on this show. So we were wondering earlier on, in case you weren't here, when did cutting become like? When did that become like well known? Like what people knew
80s.
What that was? Was it?
Yeah, because I heard about it like on.
I remember hearing about
Geraldo.
Yeah, maybe. Kind of I remember hearing about it maybe in the late 80s or early 90s.
Or 86.
You're just like, look at these weird ass people doing this kind of shit. Yeah, that sounds like some shit they would do.
That's an 86, 87 thing.
But even in 2006, when this show came out, when they discover that Ashley is a cutter, they have to explain to the audience what that is. So they're assuming that maybe like a proportional audience didn't know what that was. They, felt the need to explain it.
So you do that. Look, she's tearing up your book. Look at all the fucking little pieces of paper.
She's been doing that like forever. But like I said, that's why I deliberately put like my really old shitty books on the bottom, because I know that she's gonna tear them up and eat the paper. She loves to eat paper. I don't know why. Yeah. Well, she loves to eat everything pretty much.
Misbehaved.
She's like a little goat. But yeah, so she finds out too that, like I said, Ashley's a cutter. So her mom actually puts her in a hospital. And Linda, then they interviewed Linda on the show, and she looks, I have to say, she looks completely different than like the actress playing her, but that happens sometimes. Sometimes they get an actor that looks very similar to the person, And then sometimes it's like wildly different, and sometimes it's confusing because I'm like, that person doesn't look anything like the actor that's playing them. But yeah, so the woman they got to play Linda doesn't look anything like. But the real Linda says she basically said she thought Ashley was possessed, which okay. They didn't really like go too much more into that.
Sebastian, if both shirts are for you, I'll give you one each, man. I can make you one each. You'll like the other one. It says 13 o'clock, and it's got Jenny in a little round circle like that with her fucking hands in her boobs, and then me and the other. You'd like it. That's good.
I mean, we could just like give them like one of each one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We'll give you one each.
Yeah. Because honestly, I really like kind of the clock one with the Grim Reaper thing on it.
Yeah.
I should probably do another.
It doesn't have a Grim Reaper on, does it?
Well, yeah, on the top.
I didn't notice. Yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah, it's like a little Grim Reaper with a little hood.
Oh, the little round one? The
little ravens, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's what he's talking about. I thought he was talking about the one that looks like the clock with the round one. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Remember, you got that one.
Yeah,
too.
we have a bunch of those.
I got 3 13 o'clock shirts.
Okay, yeah, I forgot. We had like 3.
And
like I said, we used to have an old one that looked like the Friday the 13th poster.
Yeah, that's gone. That's gone now.
But
he's talking about the round one.
Oh, okay.
I think. I have a round one, and I also have like a fucking long one that looks like
it looks like an old grandfather.
Kind of looks like a grandfather clock. Or I have another one that says 13 o'clock. It's got me and Jenny in little bubbles.
That's like that's the OG one.
That's the OG one. That was one of the first ones we made.
That was like our old logo. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, I guess Emmett, the skeptical husband, he says, okay, you can bring in a paranormal investigator. I don't think he's seen anything at this point, but I guess he was like tired of everybody like bitching at him, so he's just like, whatever, like do whatever you want. So the funny thing about it, though, is that Emmett seemed to give off the vibe that he didn't believe that anything paranormal was going on. But he did say that when they were bringing in the paranormal investigators, like, well, you're going to stir some shit up. And everything. I'm like, well, do you believe or don't you?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he was kind of saying, oh, there's no such thing. But then they're like, when they wanted to bring an investigator, he's just like, oh, you're going to stir up all the demons. It was just I was just like, kind of come down on one side or the other. I don't really know.
Yeah, it's got a skeleton. It's got a Grim Reaper on top.
Yeah, like a little Grim Reaper. And like round. I said, it's round, and then there's like little ravens on the side and shit like that. Yeah. Yeah. So then they bring in a medium who I think's name is Betsy, actually. Or they bring actually the people they bring in, I wrote it down on the side. St. Louis Spirit Search. That's what they're called. Yeah. So they come in and start investigating. And they pick up some like EMF stuff that's like voices. They sound kind of garbled. And then like the medium says that she feels the presence of like an old man like standing in the corner. And on the what did I write? EMF instead of
EMF.
Yeah, okay.
Electromagnetic frequency reader.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I thought that, yeah. I was like, no, like EMF, like that rave band from the 90s. But that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so apparently on the the voice thing, EVP is what I meant to say. Says this is my house, not like the guy from the other episode, but yeah, it says this is my house, like not in a way like hey get the fuck out, but hey this is my house, like what are you guys doing in here, like you're messing everything up. Now she goes into Ashley's room, that's the daughter, and says there's a really powerful negative energy in there, and the medium Betsy thinks that maybe Ashley is causing a poltergeist, because like I said, they didn't really go too much into this angle, but Ashley was 13 at the time.
Yeah, it's poltergeist time.
And she was having a lot of problems. She was skipping school, and she was cutting, and so she was obviously, like, having some emotional difficulties.
Yeah.
So that seems like prime poltergeist fodder.
Yeah.
You know? So I kind of like that the medium brought that up, but they didn't really go too much into that possibility, which was kind of a shame. But she did say it.
I think
that's what she thought.
I said it early on. It sounded like a poltergeist.
That's what she thought it was. So then Betsy goes down to the basement and says, "Ooh, there's another like entity down here, and they really don't like us here. They're getting like super super agitated." And then I can't remember this. I wrote down Betsy goes into a spiritual vortex, and I drew this big like spiral thing. And I was just kind of like, "Wow, that sounded
spiritual
serious." So yeah.
Damn.
Well, I mean, the way they edited it, I was just kind of like, okay, there's probably nothing happened, but okay. It was all internal. They're just trying to, like, make it scary. So Steven, the original guy that was running the house, he decides he's going to research the property, and he finds out that there was, like, a Confederate slave owner guy named Captain Wilson who was executed on the property. And then he went on to say that there was a lot of murders and like other kind of violence on the property, although he didn't elaborate. And then Emmett, the skeptic, who was just kind of like, these crazy white women, and I don't have time for this shit. Then,
I don't have time for you crazy white bitches.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Then he gets woke up in the middle of the night, and he sees some shit. He sees something standing at the foot of the bed, and he's like wetting his fucking pants. Metaphorically. I don't think he literally.
He sees Honky Kong standing
That's
there.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, white ghost looking at him.
Yeah, he said it looked like human, like almost human, like standing at the foot of the bed, and he was just like, "Oh no!"
It's like, nah,
Nah, I'm not having that. And like I said, at this point, if I was his wife, I'd have been like, "I fucking told you, motherfucker. Why?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Don't call me crazy." Oh,
Yeah, he was cool. He was cool in the episode, though. He's like, I seen it myself. There, I wanted to do this shit.
Which, at least he finally was. Like I said, that's going right along with the formula. Usually, it's like the dude never sees anything, and he's just like, "You guys, you're so crazy.
Yeah.
You ladies, you're so emotional. You don't know how senses work. You don't know how eyes work.
Yeah.
You don't know how ears work."
He jumps out with his Tom Waits voice. Nah, I seen it myself now. I ain't got time for this. I'm out of here.
But yeah, like the second he sees something, like his wife is just like, "I've been seeing this for like months and months, and you're making me stay here. You see it one time, and you're like, get the fuck out of here." She's like, "God damn it. I get it. She's mad." So yeah. So then Steven arranges for like the Roman Catholics to come in, because I guess Steven is like a Roman Catholic, because there was a lot of that like about his on his website. So I kind of love this too. So he arranges for a Roman Catholic priest to come for a blessing. The Roman Catholic priest comes in, and they said, "Well, I love the way that they made it seem like they're like, well, he came in there and he seemed like he didn't really want to stay that long." And we were kind of like making jokes the whole time, because the guy comes in and he's just kind of like, yeah, we're blessing the thing. Bye. You know what I mean? He was just like really, he really didn't do a thorough job. Let's put it that way. So they're meaning to imply that he's like kind of like really
Sebastian comes
uneasy.
in and goes, thank you, Tom and Jenny. That's great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you a Snake Plissken. I'm gonna send you the round 13 o'clock shirt, and I'll send you another 13 o'clock shirt. It's got me and Jenny on it. You'll
Just
like
make sure that you send like your mailing address.
Yeah, you need your mailing address
to something like my email or Facebook or something. Like
right,
that.
and we got and where'd you pay for this? I don't know where where was payment sent. I don't know, but he must have sent us payment. So
yeah,
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Like
we'll look around for it.
So,
tell me in the comment section where you sent payment. I'll fucking hook it. I don't have any extra large blank shirts in stock, so it's going to take probably about 2 days to get the shirts.
Yeah, because I got to order some from Jimmy Shirts. Yeah. We ran out of extra.
And then once
large.
I have them, I'll cut them and I'll ship them out. So it'll probably ship out in about 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, because it takes
time.
I mean, Jiffy Shirts, they usually, if you order them like in the morning, they usually send shit the next day.
Right, but
we'll see.
I'll definitely be able to get it out within 5 days.
Yeah. Because we can send shit from the house. I got a scale and
be
at
your place a week from now, probably.
Yeah. Oop. Sex bots.
Sex bots. Ban them damn sex bots. Them sex bots don't have any titties on them. I don't see any boobs.
I don't see any.
If they got boobs, they can stay, but they don't have any boobs, so get rid of them.
So the priest comes in and he's basically like Amityville Horrors his way out of there, like, yeah, I gotta go, bye. This like your house is fine, it's blessed, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's all blessed, bye. So he does that. Yeah. So he gets the fuck out. And then later on, either that same night or shortly afterward, Linda is in bed and she hears like creaky footsteps like around the bed, and then she said that she felt like something grabbing her around the neck, like literally, like it was strangling her, like she couldn't breathe. So at this point, like she calls Steven, because she's not even talking to her husband anymore, because her husband's just kind of like called her crazy all the time. She's like, fuck you, I'm just going to call this other fucking dude. So she calls Steven up and tells him about it. And Steven is like, okay, well, I'm going to come get you. And I'm going to get you out of that house because that place is like really dangerous. So then when he gets there, he said, he found Linda on the floor, like not in the bedroom, but like in the living room, like all bruised. And she was like all like in a fetal position, like against the wall, and basically was saying like talking about how she was going to kill herself. And so she gets sent to a hospital. She's in there for 4 days, like under observation or whatever. And then the psychiatrist, and this is so funny because we were just talking about this, maybe on yesterday's show or on last week's, I can't remember. I think it was on yesterday's show. So she gets a psychiatrist to examine her, and the psychiatrist was actually on the show, which doesn't usually happen. Now, she says, okay, well, yeah, I'm suicidal, and yeah, like, all this stuff is going on, but she's like, how would you feel if I told you my house is haunted, and that's what's causing all of this stuff, like, I'm being tormented by a ghost. And the doctor is a Muslim, and he immediately believes her.
Yeah, like I told you guys on that last
That's
show.
and I thought that was so funny because I was sitting there going, yeah, why don't they ever do that? And then it's like this literal show, like the psychiatrist she went to was a Muslim, and it's like, yeah, we believe in all that shit. And he's like, she came in and she was really sincere and I believed her.
Well, they partially cut it out, but the Islamic doctor's like, oh yeah, belief in spirits and belief in ghosts, demons, and jinn are codified within the Quran. So, yeah. So I told you. Don't fuck around with Catholics, all right? And boy, they're just a damn bureaucracy. And you have to be part of the Catholic Church for a long time to get any help from them. If you're not Catholic, you can't go to them with this problem. Southern Baptists, they're not educated in this. They're going to say everything's a demon, and they're going to try to cast out some kind of fucking demon.
Like
they're not trained in this. You're probably better off if you're going to go to a religious institution. You're probably better off going to a mosque and trying to find some Muslims, and say there's either a jinn in this house or some kind of ghost, and they'll immediately believe you. Fucking, because we did a show on the jinn. And we got all kinds
it was a while back. Yeah.
While back.
That was a fun show.
Made all kinds of friends in the Middle East. Okay? One of them is Saad. He's up in Saudi Arabia. And, my family has roots in the Middle East. They lived there and worked there. My grandfather on my mother's side was a Syrian Christian. And, and it's just, the Middle East is a very spiritual place. Now, they're open-minded. They're not so open-minded that their brains fall out. It's just that they know that things like this exist. You go tell the Muslims, they're going to show up. They're going to go, well, okay, we're going to see if there's a jinn here. They're going to have there's probably going to be an imam, all kinds of fucking witnesses. You're going to have people try to help out. They go, oh, I want to see a jinn. They're at least going to show up and try to see if something's happening. So my recommendation
they're less likely to give you the runaround.
Right. My advice today is if you're having any kind of problems like this and you think you need some kind of spiritual help, there's a demon or a fucking poltergeist or a ghost, I'd go to a mosque.
Which, like I said, it's funny that we brought that up, and then the very next episode, which I totally didn't remember. She didn't go to a mosque, but she went to a psychiatrist who happened to be a Muslim.
Right.
And then, when she said about her house being haunted and explained everything, he's like, yeah, I totally believed her.
Yeah.
He gave her some medication and stuff, too, to calm her ass down.
Yeah. Caveat, if you go to a mosque asking for help, eventually they're probably going to fucking say you need to convert to Islam. But that's the way religions are.
Every religion is
all religions are like that.
They're all going to do that.
But Islam recognizes Christianity. These are all in Judaism too. These are all fucking what do you call them? Abrahamic faiths. They kind of have to help you. You believe the same God, so they'll come. They just want to see it.
Yeah, they are very similar.
Yeah,
so it's not it's not all that different.
Right.
So like I said, he does give her medication for depression, but I thought it was kind of cool that he actually came. He actually came on the show and got interviewed, like the actual doctor, and he's like, yeah, it's like we believe in that kind of stuff. So I didn't think she was crazy or anything like that. He's like, yeah, I gave her medication because she was depressed and everything, but I did believe her about the stuff. So he's basically like, well, I'm gonna suggest that you probably move out of that house because it's probably not super great. So she is like, yeah, maybe I should do that. So she moves in with relatives, and then Ashley, gets out of the hospital because she was in the, mental hospital for cutting. And they stay with the mom. And Emmett, meanwhile, goes to find them a new house. Now, Steven, and this is going back to the whole clown thing, because like I said, I thought the clown thing was random, but then at the very end of the show, Steven said, and the reason that this episode is called Fear House, which I kind of wish they had front-loaded with this information, but Steven thinks that the way that this house works is that it targets what scares you. So his son, who was scared of clowns, saw clowns, whereas like other people saw, was scared of like the monster in the closet, so like shit would happen in their closet, because it seemed like different people in the house like saw different things or different manifestations. So his theory was that it was targeting whatever was like scariest for you particularly. So that's why. So he did actually specify that his son, who was afraid of clowns, had seen murder clowns in the house. Because I thought it was just random that they were just showing that on the show. But he's like, no, apparently he did see that. Now, after Emmett and Linda move out, evidently, according to the show, a family with 6 kids, Jesus Christ, move in and only stayed there for 6 months and got the fuck out. That could mean a lot of things. That doesn't necessarily mean there was supernatural shenanigans going on, but they just put that in there as a little thing at the end, like, saying kind of the thing. Now, here's something that wasn't on the show, but I thought was kind of like interesting that Steven wrote in his write-up in 2004. He said that when they first moved into the house, I think before even anything like supernatural had happened, he said that everybody in the neighborhood would cross the street to not walk in front of their house. So it seemed like, and they noticed it, like the daughter noticed it first, he said. But he said they would look out the window and the daughter would be like, look, Dad, like they're crossing the street like in front of them, and then like coming back and like walking like that. Like everybody knew that the house was like fucked up and nobody wanted to walk in front of it. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just saying that was like they didn't put that in the show. But he did say that in his write-up, and I'm assuming that's in his book as well. Because if you were here earlier, he wrote a book called, I think the first one he wrote was called The Uninvited. I think it came out in 2012, and that was about this haunting. And I think he wrote a subsequent one about that too. He's written like books about other paranormal cases too, but I think he's written 2 books about this particular case. But that was one thing that he said, that all the neighbors seemed to know that the house, there was something wrong with it and wouldn't like walk in front of it. I'm going through his little like write up here and looking to see if there's any. I think I mentioned like how it was always fall. Yeah. Screaming in the house. Yeah. And he said, yeah, they heard like screaming all the time. And so there was that. And let's see, what else? All the lights being on. Yeah, he said that happened a whole bunch of times. And the whole temperature differential, like one room would be warm and then another would be freezing cold.
I've seen it before.
So there was that.
It's weird though, you don't know if it's actual or just perceived. Like me and Red would be like, is it really cold or do we just think it's cold in here? Does it just feel cold? It didn't feel normal, whatever it was. It wasn't like normal cold. It was like spiritual cold. No way to describe it.
Now, I mean, in this thing, that he said that the cold actually registered on the thermostat.
He said it almost registered.
And they showed that on the show too, that it said like,
because we were going to the thermostat
degrees.
Going, maybe we should turn it up, and we were like, it shouldn't be cold in here. You know what I mean? Fucking, we were confused though. I was real young, and so was Red at the time. We didn't have a thermometer. We just had a thermostat setting. You know the things that you could turn?
Yeah.
We had that bitch set at about 70 something, and it was cold as shit. But it was colder in some rooms more than the others, or at least it felt that way. And then other rooms felt fine. It was weird.
Yeah, that seems like what he was. Here's another thing too, and they didn't put this in the show, but like Steven wrote that he actually saw an apparition.
Yeah.
Like he said, and this is a quote from what he wrote. He said it was a dark figure of a man, even though there was full light. So I guess it was like full daylight. He was solid in form, except there was a moving, churning, dark gray, black smoke or mist that made up his form. And he said he saw this apparition numerous times. And that he said, too, that every now and then he would go and drive back by the house and he would see it in the window, like when he drove past. So he said that he saw it, and they didn't put that in the show, but he said that he saw apparitions. So, you know, I don't really know if that's true or not. But that was one thing that he wrote on there that they didn't put on the show. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And like I said, they didn't do a lot of the screaming thing. He said one of the main things was screaming. that there was kind of like sounds of people screaming inside the house all the time, like screaming in pain. And he said that sometimes it was so loud that you could hear it from outside, and like the dogs in the neighborhood would bark because they heard all this like screaming. So he's implying that maybe that's why like the neighbors wouldn't walk by the house, because the house was like screaming all the time, and that's why he called it like the Union Screaming House. So like I said, as far as I know, that's what it's known as. Like that's its official name, I guess. I don't actually know where it is. The picture, or the picture that I used for the thumbnail and like the house that they used on the show, that's never the house that it actually is. But if you do a little sleuthing, you can usually figure out where the actual house is, especially if they give their real names and stuff like that. But yeah, so he actually did say that he saw the fucking ghost. And later on, when they were leaving, one of the kids said that he saw what he called the basement monster, like standing in the upstairs window. And he said he turned around and did actually see that black form, like standing up there in the window, like watching them leave. So, like I said, it was like even though on the show they showed it kind of like, it kind of escalated and then shit got really scary and then they just like, fuck it, and they left. In real life, at least according to what he wrote, it was like a 2-stage event. Like they had like some shit where he saw apparitions and there was screaming and stuff, and they're like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. And then they stayed at the parents' house for a night, and then like the next day or something like that, they came back, or they stayed at the parents' house for a few days or a week or something, and then they came back to the house, and then what's the matter?
Gee, what are you calling me for?
She's like, what's the matter? You want to be on the show? Everybody wants to see you.
She wants to be on the show.
Hello.
What's the problem? She's trying to get me to do stuff.
What's up, Pooh?
What do you want me to do?
What's up?
Okay.
Why you complaining and growling?
She's lonely.
Oh, she's like, no one paying attention
Yeah, no one's
to
paying
me.
attention. We're going to pay attention.
We're paying attention.
Okay.
We see you. She's like, all right, that's enough of that.
That's enough. Short attention span.
That's enough.
Yeah.
I got other shit I got to do.
Yeah.
She probably wants to go over there and jump on the sink and be like, somebody brush me.
She's like, brush.
Yeah, man, she has a one-track
Now
mind.
she's running. She's rolling around. Fucking get your toes out of your mouth.
It's like having a toddler, seriously.
Yeah. She's funny.
She's a hilarious cat. She's a hilarious cat.
Yeah.
Blockfrog said, are there pictures of the actual house? If so, what would I have to type up to find it? Not really sure. Like, look up Union Screaming House. I'm pretty sure that's what they're calling it. And I'm guessing that whatever you get, because he did write a book about the actual place. Like I said, the house they used on a haunting is not the real house. It never is. But he wrote a couple books about it, so I'm assuming that you can find the actual place. I think it's still there, but it's in Union, Missouri. That's for sure. And he called it the Union Screaming House. So I would say, like, start there. Because there's a lot of stuff about that. I think like some other paranormal teams have been there as well. Like the Missouri-based ones. So I'm kind of, like, looking through his... Like I said, he wrote kind of a long thing about, him seeing the apparition. They didn't put that on the show. And the neighbors and stuff. And is that it? I think... Oh, he said that he'd contacted the landlady. They didn't put this on the show either. He said he'd contacted the landlady and said, did any of the past tenants, like, complain about it being haunted? And he's like, she was kind of cagey about it. Oh, I can't remember if anybody said that or not. She said that one of the previous female tenants had said that her dead father came to visit her. But the old woman said, I just thought she was a nut, so I didn't really think about it. She said, like, but a lot of the previous tenants did leave a lot of their shit, like, in the shed in the back. So there's that. And some people did, like, kind of leave just in the middle of the night. But, it might have been just because they didn't want to pay rent.
For you guys trying to track down the houses, most of the time I don't think the house has a lot to do with it. It has more to do with the people that go into that house. And when it comes to the haunting, they never show the real house.
Yeah. But if
when I fucking went and tracked down a haunting in Florida, this is actually...
Blockberg said, I see it.
What happened?
He found the actual house.
Okay. When I actually tried to track down the house, and did track down the house from a haunting in Florida, Ed's house, the house that they show on the episode is actually the house on the corner. A much nicer house.
It's just like down the street.
Just down the street. It's down the street about 4 houses. So it's that same area, but it's not that house. The one
Yeah,
that Ed was in was not that nice. Okay. Similar, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe the thing happened here. But I mean, the thing about it is that the house they showed on here was like a completely decent looking house. And he said from his description that the house was actually pretty, it was older, like it was a Victorian kind of house, but he's like, it was way like bigger and nicer than he was expecting for the rent money. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. But like I said, Blockfrog said he saw it.
Saw what?
Found the actual house.
Okay, yeah.
Because I said he wrote an actual book about it. And it was called The Union Screaming House in Union, Missouri. So I'm sure you can find it if you really want to. But like I said, I guess that's about it, right? I'm looking to see if there's anything else like significant that was in his write-up that wasn't actually on the show. But
Pookie's biting. Why are you biting?
Are you biting, Daddy? Don't bite, Daddy.
She loves to gnaw. Why are you gnawing on my hands? She's trying to get me to do stuff. She's like, do something. You're sitting here talking to these lights all the time. It's a program, Pokey. People are watching us. She has no concept.
She's like, I don't care about that. No one's brushing me or feeding me.
Yeah.
That's all
So it's that's it.
That's pretty much it.
That's
Yeah.
it. What do you want to eat?
Huh?
What do you want to eat? You hungry?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make up something to eat.
All right. It's dinner time.
Yeah. I'll make
So holy crap, we've been on for like an hour and 45 minutes.
People love this show, though, man.
Well, this is a
If
lot.
you don't want to send some more
Like I
flash
said,
bulbs,
it's a lot of fun to do. These are a lot of fun to do. They're a lot less stressful, I guess.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the show and you want to send us a super chat, you can go ahead and drop one down the super chat fucking thing and and we'll get some flash bulbs and it'll all be happy. Pookie, what are you doing?
She's probably
She's
trying to
blowing me
get
out.
snacks out of her little
she's
toy
trying to play
snowman.
with the thing.
She has a little snowman.
Why don't you
that
see if
has
there's
little
any
treats in it.
questions or any comments before we check out?
I don't see anything else, but you know,
Okay.
they're talking about the clown.
Okay.
But phrase of the show is Black-o'-lantern.
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 Yeah. He's like a jack-o'-lantern. Yeah.
Well, I think somebody said black jack-o'-lantern, and then I said, oh, Black-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, he was a cool dude though, man. But he's I got.
Yeah, he was a real character. Like he was just on the show. I don't know.
These white women are crazy.
Y'all crazy. Like he didn't say exactly that, but
That's what he's talking about.
That's what he was thinking.
White men, women, and the ghosts. And no. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing it. And then
These
I'm
white
seeing
women
it.
and their ghosts and their pumpkin spice lattes
Yeah.
and their yoga
They're
pants.
crazy. Yeah.
That's what I was imagining.
It's funny.
You know what I mean.
Okay.
But yeah. So tomorrow is Wednesday, which means it's our big like episode show.
Yeah.
Like it matters really at this point.
Yeah.
But we're doing another ghost show.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the topic that won was haunted bars and pubs.
Okay.
So that should be fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
much. That
Jeffy
was
Art.
Jeffrey Art sent us $5.
Jeffy
Thank you
Art.
Jeffy Art sent us $5. We're gonna be on. Y'all keep sending them. Fucking we give it a few more minutes. Fucking we will be on. And
But yeah. So tomorrow night we're gonna be talking all about haunted bars and pubs. Like I said, don't. There's a lot. There's a lot of ones. Okay. So I'm really gonna have to like work hard to like winnow down like the ones that are most, because I've been like kind of going through lists of them and be like, well, is this one that interesting? Is that one that interesting? Right. So I'm gonna try to like keep it down. But
tomorrow I'm gonna have to go and get us some more juice so we can drink. Running out of fucking juice.
Yeah.
Got plenty of vodka.
We got lots of last time.
Lots of vodka.
Is this? I'm not sure if this is sad or what.
Yeah.
But last time he made a Sam's run.
Yeah.
A week or two ago.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, well, you only go to Sam's like once every 2 or 3 months, right?
More or less 2 months.
So he comes back and he says like 3 or 4 huge bottles.
I had a fifth of fucking Sam's silver tequila, which is great.
Because it's cheap there and it's good.
Man.
So he's just like, oh, I got a whole bunch, so we don't have to go back to the liquor store.
Sam's silver tequila is fucking as good or better. It tastes just like fucking Milagro silver. That shit's good. And it's only like fucking $20. It's got a fancy bottle in there.
And their big ass thing of vodka is only what, $12.99, $13.99, something like that.
And I got 2 of those. And
it's massive. It's like it's a big
and
bottle.
I can't tell that shit from Grey Goose.
I can't either.
No.
And like
Grey
I said,
Goose
sometimes when I go down, because we have a liquor store just right down the street, and if I buy shit from that liquor store, I'll usually just get Sky, which is $21, $25, something like that.
It's twice the price.
Yeah, so it's twice as much,
Yeah.
and I can't tell the difference
No,
between Sky and between the Sam's.
Sam's is better. It's like Grey Goose. And it comes in a big, huge fucking glass bottle. And it's kind of slightly frosted. And then the other one that I got was Sam's Silver Rum.
Yeah, we got rum too.
It's better than Bacardi. Better. It's almost.
I
like
haven't had Bacardi in a long
It's
time,
like
so I don't
it's
remember.
like Captain Morgan's.
I like rum, but I just never get it.
I love rum. It's like Captain Morgan's Silver Captain Morgan. It's like that. Real good. Fucking Sam's is not joking.
I mean,
Their whiskey sucked. Their fucking
that's the only
whiskey
thing.
sucked.
I did get their whiskey there, and it's
Fucking
like,
sucks.
I mean, we've talked about that before. Like
Yeah.
the whiskey, that was terrible.
Terrible.
It just, like I said, it tasted like licking a barbecue grill.
It was. You could definitely tell it was artificial.
Yeah, it was very it tasted like it tasted like drinking, like, you know, that artificial smoke stuff.
Yeah.
that you put like
liquid smoke.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
tasted like drinking a bottle of that.
Yeah, terrible.
To me.
Terrible.
But every other thing that we've got there, I don't think I've ever got their gin. I wonder if their gin's any good.
Yeah, their gin's good. It's like Beefeater.
Did we get their gin before?
Yeah, I've had it before.
Oh, okay.
We didn't buy it.
I don't think we bought it, but
It's not,
we usually.
Gin isn't very versatile. You can only do it for fucking.
That's
gin
true.
and
I do
tonic,
like
seven.
gin, but I don't
You want me
usually.
to get some? I can get some next time. I mean, if you want.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
I mean, usually we just get vodka because vodka goes with everything.
Yeah, their
You can
vodka.
get- You can get any kind of I can get
Their
like,
vodka,
any
the
kind of
rum,
fruit juice. I can
and
get
the
like
fucking
Zing
tequila.
Zang or tomato juice or
Yeah.
anything like that, and like everything is good with it.
Yeah.
To an extent, rum is like that too. And I don't like tequila, but you get tequila.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that Sam's, like I said, they have all the liquor for half the price,
Yeah.
but it's far. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's the only
So,
problem.
I mean, Sam's is kind of like, every 2 months you go and like
Yeah.
spend fucking $600.
You gotta have a membership
like
and-
stocking up for all the shit, and then like you'll stock up. But for just if we run out of booze, we just run up
Yeah.
the street to the liquor store, and then
Right.
I'm gonna have to pay $25.
For you people
for
out
Sky.
of the country, like up in Europe, Sam's is like a different situation because you have to have a membership to Sam's, and really to get those prices, you're supposed to. I got the business owners' prices, and I got that through my family. They added me onto their account back when we were in the horse business, so I'm just renewing that, and that's how I got my Sam's fucking card, and it's bulk shit. Fucking prices are super good. The portions are bigger. The prices are low.
Yeah, I mean Costco's the same. A lot of
Like
people,
Costco.
Yeah, we have a Costco around here too, but I've never been there.
They've been going up recently because of all the supply chain problems, but fucking it's still a lot better than you can get. Okay, like I got a big old thing of fucking Mrs. Butterworth, almost like a half gallon of that. I think that was like $3.50 for a half a gallon of Mrs. Butterworth. Fucking.
We don't even use syrup that much.
I use it. I pour it in coffee. That's what I use as coffee creamer.
Oh, I
Coffee
didn't know
soup.
you were doing that.
Oh no, I eat fucking fucking maple syrup's great in coffee. And
Man, you've been doing all that without me knowing about it.
You don't drink it. I'll make you some if you want. It's good.
Well, like I said, the thing about it is that you use the coffee pot downstairs, and
Yeah.
I have my own coffee pot in my
Yeah.
office,
Yeah.
which just makes 1 cup at a time.
Yeah, no, I make
because
the whole
usually
pot.
I'll get up
Yeah.
and just make 1 cup because that's
Yeah.
all I drink usually. Well, sometimes I make a cup later, but you know what I mean. But it just makes 1 cup.
You
at a
ever
time.
you ever had coffee with maple syrup and creamer?
I have, but
It's
yeah,
great.
It is good.
It's really good.
I mean, I just usually make mine with regular ass creamer,
Yeah.
like just non-dairy creamer and sweet and
Yeah.
low. Like, you know.
There's
And with sometimes a little bit of cinnamon. I put cinnamon in there.
You okay?
But you know what I mean.
Okay, so we can go ahead and shut it down. We're done for the show.
Xanadu said,
do you
I'm a
think?
coffee fiend. I drink it all day.
Okay.
Honestly, I do too.
Pour some fucking Pour some maple syrup
in it.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be real maple syrup. It can be like cheap maple syrup, and it's still
Be like
good.
Log Cabin or something.
Yeah, like
do
log-
they,
well,
do they still
yeah.
make Log Cabin
Oh
syrup?
yeah, but that's not that bad.
No, I'm just saying I don't know if they still make it.
Mrs. Butterworth is the cheapest one, and generic stuff.
I like Mrs. Butterworth.
Yeah, that's the cheapest one.
That's
I don't-
what we
I don't
always
think-
had growing up on the waffle.
Yeah, I don't think it's real maple syrup. I think it's artificial, but it's,
Well, no, none of that stuff is. It's basically just
You can get
corn
real-
syrup,
corn syrup.
with maple flavoring.
Yeah, but you can get real maple syrup.
Yeah, you can.
I think
Honestly, though, you
it's
know
not
what
very sweet though.
You know
It
what
doesn't
I've
sweeten
heard?
that
Yeah, I've heard that people that
Yeah.
grew up on Mrs. Butterworth and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which is not real maple syrup.
Yeah.
They have real maple syrup and they don't like it.
Well. Yeah, no, it's not that good. It's not very sweet. It's not very
That's
sweet,
probably
and
why.
it's thin.
Yeah.
It's thinner. No, you want the fake shit. and you pour in like quite a bit of it. Don't put a little bit. Don't be a pussy. Pour in quite a bit of this shit. You look at the calories, it's actually less calories than sugar. So you put quite a bit in there. And your powdered creamer and pour some fucking coffee in there. Man, that shit's good. It's addictive. It's good on anything. It's great on fried chicken.
Don't be afraid. Get some diabetes.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I know that. I've had it on fried chicken before.
You can
Well,
use it as a
honestly,
dip.
fried chicken, maple syrup, honey, anything
Yeah.
like that is good on fried chicken.
Yeah.
Come on.
You can take thin sliced pieces or just a big old... Here's another thing you can do. You can
Thank
take
you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Sebastian.
£5 super chat.
5 pounds, bro. Thank you very much. You can take...
5 pounds of money.
You can take a hind quarter of a deer and fucking paint it up with maple syrup, even if it's fake maple syrup, and just hang it. And 3 days later, it'll be cured. If you soaked it in brine, that's even better. Or rolled it in salt, and then just put some fucking maple syrup on it. Go back there 3 days later and cut a piece of that off and cook it. It's fucking great. Really good. You can cure and candy meat in even fake maple syrup. It's great.
Yeah, like
It'll
I said, well,
preserve
the
it.
thing about it, it's like, I don't know, it's not fake anything. It's
not
just
fake.
It's just not really like out of a maple tree.
It's not out of the tree. Yeah. It's not
You
out of the
know,
tree.
that's all.
Right.
It kind of tastes mapley.
Yeah, and here's another thing. It doesn't have to be a maple tree. A lot of people think that you got to get syrup, it's got to be in a maple. No, you can do it through birch, you can do it through oak, and all kinds of weird shit. You just got to drive a tap into a tree, hang a bucket from it, and put a damn roof over it so rain doesn't get in there, and you can sit there and you can just drain that tree, put water in it later and heat it up, and you'll make any kind of syrup, and they all taste about the same. And you can cure meat with it, or pour it over fucking cakes and make pancakes. You can do anything with it. I ought to make my own show. I ought to make my own show about all the survival shit you can do with cooking.
Well, the thing about it, we thought about that because remember we started doing like live streams like called On the Menu, and I think we only did 5 or 6 of them.
5 or 6 of them.
Like,
but I covered a lot of the basics on the menu.
But
yeah,
one of these days you should probably start a cooking show. Camp Guy said Mrs. Butterworth is a top shelf name brand at our house. I mean, Mrs. Butterworth is good.
It's good, yeah.
That's what we usually had at our house. Like we had Log Cabin Teeth. So I don't even know if they make that anymore.
Yeah.
But man, ooh, bitch. Like somebody, I don't know what I was watching. What the fuck was I watching? But somebody like mentioned, I was watching a movie the other day, and somebody mentioned French toast. And I was like, fuck, man, I haven't had French toast in like years and years. And I was like, man, that sounds really good. And then Zach says, ooh, chicken and waffles. I fucking love chicken and waffles. And we have a restaurant in downtown Sanford called Chantel's. We brought it up before.
Yeah.
And they have excellent chicken and waffles.
Yeah.
They also have excellent shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
Man, they have like the best shrimp and grits
In
I've
the
ever
shrimp and
eaten.
grits, she's using, instead of fucking cream, she's using coconut milk. It's
Man,
good.
they're so
Coconut milk and cheese. Velveeta cheese.
That shrimp and grits, it was like luscious. It was luscious. But their chicken and waffles is really good too.
Yeah.
The thing about it is that the shrimp and grits, because we usually go there because it's right next to Mannequins, so we usually go there at like fucking 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
And they only have a limited menu. You can get chicken and waffles at 3 in the morning, but you cannot get shrimp and grits at 3 in the morning. You have to go there in the daytime.
He's talking about, Camp Guy's talking about curing bacon inside of things like maple syrup. Read it off. What does it say?
Where are you looking?
At the bottom. Camp Guy.
I make a beef jerky that has maple syrup and sorghum syrup, molasses in the marinade. Marinade.
Yeah.
I mean, maple syrup, I kind of feel like people that's like really good with bacon. Like maple is like a really, really good flavor. I think it's underutilized.
Yeah.
It's just like a really good like fall flavor. I'm just like, man, all year long, I'll eat some maple stuff.
Yeah, Xanada says he doesn't like grits though. He's a Yankee. No, you gotta.
I mean, it's no different than like polenta.
It's like polenta.
Or, you know.
You just gotta know how to make them. You gotta know how to dress them up. And yet, there's another Zach saying we have good comfort food down here. Yeah, it's not comfort food. When black people moved north, they called it soul food. It's not soul food. It's just Southern food. Whites.
It's just food.
It's just Southern food. Southern whites and Southern blacks ate the same food, pretty much.
Now I want chicken and waffles.
Yeah. Any difference between Southern whites and Southern blacks was family differences, family recipe differences. That's the only difference. And and there were differences between the white families and differences between the black families of how they cooked shit. But it's all Southern food. Southern food is soul food. Same thing. Where you take Southern food and move it north, they call it soul food because that's more marketable than Southern food because Northern whites hate fucking Southern whites. So you can't say Southern food. Oh, I don't want that. But soul food, they go, oh yeah, we'll eat that. It's just politics. Politics.
Camp Guy said you don't eat grits plain. You add cheese or bacon or scrambled eggs or all three.
Yeah, or maple syrup or fucking
or boiled.
Anything.
We put hard boiled eggs
and bacon with fucking
and bacon
cheese.
bits and cheese and stuff. Yeah.
And you want cheese that melts real well, like Velveeta cheese.
Man, that'll sustain you all day. Seriously, you have a bowl of that with like eggs and bacon and cheese in there. I'm just like, well, that's all I'm eating today.
You could put so-called real cheese in it and melt that too, but you're kind of wasting that cheese. That's expensive cheese. Cheaper cheese like Velveeta cheese, higher in protein, melts a lot easier, and it's going to give you that same flavor. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. You can get powdered cheese, like from the mixes out.
I don't love that though.
It's out there.
It's
out there. You can get whole cans of powdered cheese, which is basically the same powder that comes out of Kraft macaroni and cheese mix. You can buy that, and that's good in grits. But you put milk.
Yeah, I don't mind it mixed into grits.
Yeah, grits.
I just don't like it when it's like trying to be like in a cheese forward application. No, I'm not a fan of it in that.
It's good in ramen. If you want cheese.
Yeah,
ramen,
if you just like mix it in with ramen or something like that where it like dissolves.
It dissolves, right? Yeah.
Then that's okay.
But get rid of the sex bot. Thank you very much.
But if you're trying to make it be like actual cheese, like in an omelet or something, I'm not a fan. Because it has like a weird chemical-y taste in that application.
Yeah.
Xana said in the North we eat a lot of casseroles. I mean, we do too. I ate a lot of casseroles growing up. Yeah. Same kind of thing. Like, because everybody was into like an easy one-pot thing where you could just throw everything into a casserole.
I'm a big fan of tuna casseroles.
I am too, honestly. Yeah, I didn't like them when I was growing up. No, they're good. I developed an appreciation as I got a little bit older.
Peas and the fucking cream and the.
I mean, I could take or leave the peas.
I like peas in it.
I don't love peas, but so they don't have to be in there. But
it's got to be hot though. It's got to be a hot fucking tuna casserole. It's good.
You said hot peas. No. Everything is, and then he said everything is meat and potatoes in the Midwest. Yeah. I kind of feel like. It's kind of like that in the South, too. I kind of feel like everything is, like, meat and, like, starch.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's potatoes, but not necessarily. Sometimes it's, like, noodles or rice or...
Yeah, and rice and noodles.
Various other things.
Mississippi, heavy in rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more of a potato and noodle person. I'll eat... I like rice. I'm not saying that, because I like a lot Indian food, and they eat everything with rice, but...
Yeah.
If I could pick, I'm usually more into, like, mashed potatoes or egg noodles.
Okay, so let's go ahead and shut it down, Jim.
I can't believe we've been going for more than 2 hours.
Yeah. It's a full blown show.
We need to eat.
Yeah, gotta be.
And then we need to watch Coma because that's the movie that's going up at the end of the week.
You're gonna wear that. You're gonna wear that right
Am
there.
I?
Yes, I might hit that.
You might.
I might hit that. I'm fucking. It's just pulling me in. I can't understand it. Looking, I'm on my injections.
You guys, I can't get anything done around here.
I'm trying to hit.
I'm trying to do a show, and I'm just like, okay, we're doing the show about this, and I have all the notes, and he's just like grabbing my. I'm just like, are you listening to what I'm saying?
I was hitting her on the side of her fucking head with my fucking. Nah, I ain't gonna talk about.
Like what I'm trying, and I'm just kind of like waiting for her to finish, and I'm just kind of like, "Are you done?" Okay.
Yeah, she don't care. Go ahead and shut it down, Jenny. I'm gonna fucking. All right, make us something to eat.
So, like I said, be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna do a show about haunted bars and pubs. That should be super, super fun. Have a drink with us and talk about haunted shit, and it'll be really fun. So. And we'll probably end up talking about food because you know how that goes. So thank you everybody for dropping by. Thank you for your super chats. Lovely to be hanging out with you on this haunting Monday/Tuesday. And we will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.